How's it going for you?
Good.
It's going good.
I got some mustard here, and I got kielbasa.
Mustard and kielbasa?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good mix.
No, that's definitely good.
I mean, would you have
need spicy
preferred him
mustard,
just to
but-
have the mustard?
No, just the kielbasa.
Oh. I mean, he said mustard first, so.
I'll usually use like hot sauce, but
Ooh, hot sauce is so good.
Lauren.
He is now.
Hey,
Hello again, Lauren.
what is up? How are you?
what's up?
Good.
Good. Radical.
You look
quarter.
nice. This is the second time in a row I've seen you, and you're all niced up.
Well, I mean, my lighting is not great, but I'm working on it. But thank you. That's nice of you to say. Oh, no, I don't think I have a USB port. Well, in case there's no lighting.
Oh,
Coder's having some
Oh my
technical
God.
issues. So it's Coder
get him,
and
speakeasy.
some Tom Simpery over here.
Mhm.
Are they saying that in your chat too?
I said it in my chat.
So my chat's definitely saying it every time. I can't do anything. That they even when
You're
I
not
talk
allowed
to
to
you,
compliment
they
a woman
think
anymore
You got that
without
long
being-
hair.
Yeah.
True.
Oh no,
Little
they're
did
right.
you
I'm
guys know-
definitely
little did
always
you guys
simping.
know he was telling me I look good today.
Yeah, they are correct. I'm definitely always simping. They're like they know me well.
Little puppies.
So, who's fucking late? I thought this was fucking starting at 9.
Yeah, we're just waiting on Synth and Zonia if she's coming still.
Oh yeah, all right.
I think Xenia
Radical
might be
Coder
late.
and Synth.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Coder, but he's having some issues.
Sonia told
look
us
at
she might
this.
be late.
Yeah.
Oh, Synth is saying that their connection's not looking good either. What's with all y'all connections down there?
What, the StreamYard?
No, just their internet connection.
Oh.
Yeah, Ginger's is a little bit choppy.
Oh, mine's always choppy on StreamYard.
Oh,
It doesn't. My system does not like StreamYard.
She doesn't seem choppy to me.
She was earlier. Right now, actually, she's a lot better.
Oh, okay.
Later, Paul. Thank you.
You know, it would be like a massive like bombshell if Ginger, it turned out she was dyeing her hair.
Yeah, that'd be rough. Meth, what is it? What is it that made you figure out? You sound like you're enlightened on the Thorpes now. What enlightened you?
Wait,
It was
previously
big
a Thorpe
tech.
supporter?
Big tech.
You were a Thorpe supporter.
That
You,
sucks.
Not
Sorry.
supporter, but
but what?
That sucks.
enabler.
Hey everyone.
You were an enabler. Oh,
Hey,
nice.
Even worse.
he's the worst. All right.
Yeah, I had what's his name, Drazi on Twitter the other day. It was like, you know, guys, if you just approach the Thorpes like they're humans and humanize them and talk to them like they're real people, you might not think they're so bad. I'm like,
Maybe
No.
if you
Well,
approach
when you
like
say
humans,
they-
they'll stop fucking their own daughters.
yeah.
When you say they,
I've had a I don't know, I've had productive and unproductive conversations with the Thorpes. We'll put it that way, you know. They have
I-
It might have been productive for you, but I guarantee it was not productive for them.
You'd be
I
surprised.
guarantee they didn't take anything that you said into consideration.
I've had a on and off online relationship with them for like almost a year at this point. So it's yeah. I've been
I stand
around
by
them a
what I
lot.
said.
Yeah,
I stand by what I said.
But I just
Yeah, I
have a
blame
higher
you,
tolerance
Coder,
than
for-
most people.
For them finding me.
That might have been, yeah, unironically, that might be fair.
It's all your fault.
You're welcome.
Which is
You're
why
welcome.
you found freaking everybody else here. So Coder's the missing link.
True.
He's the gateway drug.
Basically.
So
Elder
we got-
Drazi has kidney stones and is in the hospital. Damn.
That's
That
rough.
sucks.
Kidney stones suck.
Kidney stones do
It-
suck. Those are insanely painful.
Do we got some? Okay,
Ooh, shit.
I guess we're still waiting.
Women complain about birth, but men having kidney stones is
I hear it's worse actually, because it's like relative to size, like a woman's
the amount of
woman
space it
dilated
has to
head
go through.
is
I mean,
bigger thing comparative percentage wise to the whole.
Well, it depends.
Thankfully, I have a small penis, so it wasn't that bad. But damn, dude.
well, I
Do I
never
hear-
experienced
Bro?
birth, but I have experienced kidney stones. I will say that they suck.
Oh,
Some
it hurts
men.
for women to hear. Doesn't it have to go through the? Yeah. Ooh, no.
Yeah.
Often. But did you know that coyote, or I think it was either coyotes or hyenas, they give birth through their clit and they have to like tear it open in order.
Either
yeah.
a clit.
It's
Yeah.
So hardcore.
They have. Well, it's not just a clit. It's like an outy vagina that looks like a penis.
And
Oh,
they
you're
like
talking
tear
about
it.
what is that? Hyenas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hyenas. Yeah.
And they're also like lesbians and they like to lick each other's clits. It's a real thing.
It's
And-
very
and they're
interesting.
gay,
Like
frequently.
very weird, but yeah.
Hey. Lesbian
Yeah.
hyenas.
Oh.
What are those
That's what.
those monkeys that are
They
that
scissor.
have sex a lot? The
Bonobos.
bonobos, yeah. They have a
Humans?
front facing
Bonobos is
vagina.
because they're a matriarchy, so you know.
they
how
have
frickin'
part
women
of
are.
them being a matriarchy is they have a front facing vagina, which means that they have to fuck facing face to face. So the males can't just like disregard the females. So they're physiologically
Imagine
like
the same way.
forced to have empathy.
You know
Yeah,
what
but
I find
Those monkeys also like all sleep with like their relatives and shit, right?
Yeah.
So like they're
Dude,
those monkeys are-
you guys know how
Send the
ducks are
Thorpes over
born?
there.
You know how
What?
they're born because ducks are violent. Did you know ducks
Eggs,
like
right?
almost never have consensual sex? Like, it's almost
No,
always.
they rape.
You know, the
Cool.
corkscrew penis, right?
Welcome to the
Right?
club that's most animals, you know? And me. You know.
It's not most animals. Most animals have some sort of like process of like agreeing to mate with one another. So like tons of swans and other like types of birds especially have like a mating process of like choosing mates where they have like a ceremony to go through
Yeah.
before they can choose whether or not to mate with one another. Here we just
Nerdidity,
buy
is
them
that
dinner
true?
and
Just text,
I'm
what are you
sorry.
doing?
Somebody from my chat says duck wieners fall off at the end of mating season.
They do, and then they grow back even more swirly. So
yes, they have
So
like the
girls
swirly
are
straw.
this way, and men are corkscrewed the opposite way. And then the men have
Yes.
like bells and have like all of and like pockets, and then the women have like pockets and like dead ends and shit. It's like wild, all sorts of craziness going on. Yeah, there was a really funny video of this girl taking her pet duck that was like injured or something, and she like finally released it to the wild and immediately got raped. It's pretty fun.
You ever hear
I
about
I guess ducks don't just fly together.
Yeah, birds of a feather fuck together. Have you ever heard
Yeah.
of echidna penises? They have like 3 heads. like knuckles,
Wow.
and they alternate which head is the one that ejaculates every time they like have sex.
Like a hydra.
Wow.
I don't know
That is
why.
Interesting. Oh.
Because it's awesome.
It
What
looks
if they
horrible.
pick the wrong one? What if they pick the wrong one? Like
I don't know.
they release number 3, but they have 2 in.
Yeah, well, they have like one
Sometimes
shaft
shit happens.
with 3 heads. Right?
They don't reproduce that time.
Who technically
shit.
brought this? Bring your own topic, right? Who decided to bring this topic? The animal vagina.
I'm moderating.
Blame Tom.
I have no topic.
I feel
I'm
like
just gonna
you
blame
might
Tom.
wanna participate in my topic because I feel like it'll trigger you.
Base. I'm here for it.
He's like, I'm trying to trigger everybody today.
It's not that it's
Everybody's been frustrating me over the last couple of days, so I am just on super level 10 annoyed today. and
You are
I am happy.
easily annoyed.
it's
Are
4
people
heads.
bugging you
Say
because
it
of the
again?
lab thing? Are people bugging
Wait.
you because of the lab thing?
Yeah. What did
You
say,
are the most
Lauren?
easily annoyed person. You're like so easily annoyed. Like, for instance, okay, 2 times I spoke to you last, you were so easily annoyed. It was like over dumb shit. It was over the physics cube problem. It's from
No,
the
because you. No, hold on. No,
The
no, 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 no.
I was
No,
on for like 30
no.
minutes.
Listen,
And
listen.
then what was the
You-
other thing that you got?
That
really
is not
on?
easily annoyed. Okay, that's not
Relationships are
easy.
transactional. I'm being Tom.
That
No. Okay, they are transactional. That was
What?
yeah.
What is this? Don't do this.
Tom does do that. That is a Tom move, for sure.
Okay, but
She's making sure her hand stayed in the frame while she was freaking on you.
you have to understand what it's like to be a sober person trying to debate somebody who is very much unsober. Okay,
Why
that
would
is
I never understand what it's like to be a sober person?
I don't know. I don't know.
I know what it's like
Good
debating
question.
a not sober person when you're sober. Yeah, I know what that's like.
I'm only sober in the hospital, so
I had that too.
Now I'm
too.
in everybody's chat all the time, no matter what they say. I'm in their chat in all caps. You have to push back harder. Push back harder.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I commented on something. Yeah,
You-
I
Lauren told me to push on her back harder.
oh god.
you didn't respond.
Based response.
Push on her back harder, based.
Giggity.
Is that because of the small penis?
Is it a small penis or an oversized clit?
I think
Same difference.
Ah,
Small
shit.
penis versus big butt. That's
Oh no.
always a challenge.
That's a sad ending.
You
It'll
just need
never
a
see
wipe.
its
You just
home.
need a wipe after that one.
Off to a great
shit.
start here.
Resto says he came for the verbal assault. Verbal assault. Thank you, Resto.
My topic's
I don't know if
gaslighting.
these, others are showing up.
They're scared. They can't take the heat.
My topic is Tom not pushing back hard enough on laugh. No.
And that was my topic.
cunt. Fuck that cunt.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree.
Yo, when she was on your show the other day, I was gonna come up, but I refused to let her feel like I was chasing her because she ducked twice. That pussy. She ducked
She ducks-
twice.
But she does that
She
with
does that
everybody.
on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
She
not.
just doesn't wanna
especially
admit that I
especially
would've-
if there's a bigger, better panel going on. She will just drop.
That's what happened. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to do any panels this.
And you see her
She's
you
on a
see her on
fucking
somebody
panel.
else's.
I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
No,
she does that a
that
lot.
happened to us as well. Smith invited me, Lav, and Erin Portland is burning onto a panel, and
I love
she
Portland.
canceled. And that same while we're all on a panel pops up on Wick's panel, or Chud's panel is one of those. So yeah.
And then she wonders why nobody trusts her.
I
don't
mean, there are
think she
plenty of
wonders.
reasons why nobody trusts her. So
I don't think
Yeah.
she wonders.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, that was not the thing that made me stop trusting her.
Because aren't you talking sometimes and there's just something that falls out of your mouth and you realize it's a lie? Bitch, sorry.
Ah, shit.
My bad. Sorry.
I've personally had good experiences with Lav. I don't know. She made a good debate partner.
Yeah.
We took on Andrew Wilson and his wife once. and
Another
it was great
sim.
then. It was great.
She's
Shocker, a guy doesn't have an
Another
issue.
sim.
I mean,
she's
there are certainly critiques that could be made, but
I'm debating Rachel next
Certainly
Friday at
critiques.
9.
have fun. She's awful to talk to. But
Oh, I'm really. I talked to Andrew last week. I don't know. I'm really excited. I really need to read her book before Friday. Has anyone read her book and want to give me like
Rachel's
short notes?
book?
I want to read it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rachel.
You talking about
It-
Rachel's book?
hmm
Yeah, cult feminism. Apparently, I read like some of the reviews, and they're essentially like,
I couldn't
if you're
find
like, it really is like 40
Mhm.
bucks.
There
I
are
looked for it for a while and I couldn't.
There are
find it.
people that do dramatic readings on YouTube of it. You should do that. You should look that
Real-
up instead of reading it yourself. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's really
That's
funny.
content.
I really recommend that.
Are we
I'm
doing
doing
a
a
fucking
dramatic
panel?
reading once of
We need to
Yes.
connect after this, and you just need to find maybe you
Okay.
can send me a link.
I will.
too.
Yes, I will send you a link.
All right,
Yeah.
these
Alright.
people are 20 minutes late at this point.
yeah, Jesus Christ,
We
dude.
get started and they can.
I'm gonna tell them in
Whenever they
the
come.
chat we're gonna start up, and then they can join if they want to. Because it's kind of like an open panel, basically. I thought that's kind of a cool idea, right? Bring your own topic, so it's like a planned open panel kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I'm sure
Have
we're
you
gonna
heard
find one of
from
the topics
Zonia at
that we
all?
all want to fucking argue on. So
She just
Have
said
you
that
heard
she was
from
running
Zonia?
late because she had something else planned as well. She forgot about.
I've
so
got extra
she
topics.
said she was going to be late.
I got extra topics if
yeah,
anybody.
I heard that's what I heard from Zonia in there too. That like she has something to do, but
Yeah.
like she might be okay because she can pop in any time anyways, right? So
Give an introduction. Give an introduction. We're streaming here.
Yeah, I
We're
was gonna say,
streaming,
we can
dude.
We can let everybody go through intros real quick.
Hey,
and
my
then
stream's loving this. All right.
We'll get into the topics, and since it's different topics, it won't matter much that they missed any. So, give me just a second.
I'm sure we'll find one. There's someone's gonna bring up one that we're gonna end up fighting on, all of us. So like that's
I'm
what
sure
I
it's gonna be the first
kind
one.
of planned for.
It's gonna be the first one, whatever it is, and we're just gonna.
I think we'll all be in unanimous agreement about mine. Should be easy.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and get into introductions. So, for everybody who's just now joining in, we're doing Bring Your Own Topic panels today, hosted by Speakeasy, moderated by me. We're going to go ahead and let
Escape with Speakeasy on YouTube. I am Speakeasy on everything else. I do a little bit of everything. It's hard to even tell you what I do because I do all types of shit from like true crime to red pill, debates, all types of shit. So yeah, come over if you want to get entertained to fuck. I like doing these debates every Wednesday. So we're going to keep these going. And yeah, that's it.
It's not hard to figure out what he does. He does Facebook mom drama on his channel. So if you're
Some of that
super
too.
interested in Facebook
Some
mom
of that
drama,
too.
Wow.
hit up Speakeasy. All right.
If you like watching
Smith.
Days of Our Lives, come over every Friday because we do some fuck shit on Fridays. Let's go.
Real Smith on YouTube. I have interesting conversations, unlike everybody else here. All right, and you can come if you're there if you wanna fucking experience real intimacy and you want to experience real titillation in your fucking brain for once.
That's real titillation.
The last time you did that, someone commented in my Discord and said, "Thank you, Seth, for that moment," because you like so like.
Yeah, I'm turning that into a GIF for my Discord. All right, Radical Coder.
Yeah, I'm Radical Coder. I talk about programming and math, but mostly politics. I am infamous for my conversation with Destiny about teaching math, apparently making Black children run around the classroom to learn math, which is not my position. But anyway, that was a fun conversation.
Awesome. Lauren.
Okay, my name is Lauren. I'm Lauren De Laguna on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I do politics, drama, all sorts of stuff. I do a lot of interviews though, so I think it's funny. Real Smith is like, I'm the only one talking about real shit. Well, I've talked to the man who's invented the suicide pod. I've talked to psychologists. I've talked to cult leaders.
What the fuck is a suicide pod?
What?
The fuck is a suicide pod?
In certain countries, you're illegally allowed to off yourself, so this man created like a pod that that you put yourself in and press a button and it ends you and it disposes your body for you. So
some Futurama type shit.
I've interviewed a guy who murdered his dog and beat his girlfriend. I've interviewed First Amendment auditors, attorneys, all sorts of people. So I do that sort of shit, and I do debates, real talk, and I'm titillating.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lauren. Hopefully you investigated all the things that those people were saying to you as well. Ginger.
Hi, I am Ginger Ramoth. You can find me at Ginger Ramoth on pretty much everything except for Instagram. That is Lady Ramoth. I do cosplay panels. I go over all different kinds of scams on my channel. Actually, that's mostly what I do. And play video games.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to do one topic at a time. I don't know. Does anybody have like a hard out for when you need to leave?
Did you even introduce yourself?
My name's Tom. I go by Tom Foolery Show on YouTube. Does anybody have like a hard out on when they need to leave? Because I don't know exactly. How long do we plan on doing each topic? Do you?
Well,
like
the thing
minutes?
is with this one, I was figuring like, because you're gonna be moderating, right? So we'll let people do their topic and we'll get into it. We'll see how much there is even going on, and like if it gets to like a slow point, we'll move on, right? But like I have a feeling it's gonna get exciting.
Okay, yeah. So let's do it this way. Instead of having opening and closing statements on each topic, when the person reads their topic, let's have somebody raise their hand if they're like somebody who has thoughts on it or like wants to be the first one to speak on it, and we'll just pick somebody to start with and then open it up from there. And so since Smith says that his topic is contentious and that he thinks everybody should fight on the first topic, let's go ahead and start with Smith for the first one.
There's a chance that you'll all just fucking agree with me because you're all smart. But I want to talk about gaslighting, and I want gaslighting in the context of these fucking panels. Okay, so I think that the reason that these panels have gotten so 2 years ago these panels were like booming, right? And now they're like the allure has worn off. And I think the thing is, especially in a lot of these arguments and shit, but especially on panels, an argument will come down to two people's values or their feelings. I just feel this way about abortion, you feel that way. And if you end it there, it's going to be a boring conclusion. So what you do is when you have those difference of values, you stretch it out for another hour of gaslighting each other, trying to logic someone out of their feelings. And it's literally like verbatim what gaslighting is. You're just trying to fight someone, telling them that their feelings are wrong. And that was entertaining 2 years ago, but watching that over and over and over again has just become like really boring because it's the same exact thing over and over again.
Okay. Raising hand.
Yeah, go
so do you think that I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Well, can you reiterate the last thing that you just said?
I think what gaslighting is when you try to convince someone that their feelings are wrong. And that is... So you
don't think that feelings can be wrong?
They can be irrational, but it doesn't make them wrong.
What if their feelings are wrong, though? Like, what if their feelings are their opinion and their opinion is wrong?
Well, you could be wrong about what you feel. Like, you could think that you're happy, but you're actually sad because you're like really emotionally retarded. but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying like whatever you feel is what you feel.
So generally, we would picture like gaslighting being you having you're making them question reality, right? Not just their reality, but reality. Whereas it
Their
sounds
reality.
like you're saying you're making them question their reality.
Yeah, that's what gaslighting is.
No,
There
you're
is no
making
the
them
reality.
question
It is
reality.
there is no reality that is like my reality is I'm more in tune with the real reality. Like trying to argue you out of your reality is gaslighting.
But that's
Can
not a
I give
reality,
you an
though.
example that I think you're trying to say, Smith? So like, if you're saying you feel betrayed, but I know I did nothing to betray you, and I say you shouldn't feel betrayed. You're saying I shouldn't. That would be gaslighting you. You're saying that?
So you can tell, so you can and should tell me like all the things that like I need to know, like I might be wrong about. But if I still feel like betrayed afterwards, like you can't like force me to do that. I'm just crazy. But like just because I'm crazy doesn't mean that that's not gaslighting.
Yeah, but you saying that I betrayed you, even though I didn't, that would be the gaslighting. No?
So I knew this would piss Tom off. So the thing is no,
What
that's
the
not
hell is
that's
happening?
not no
You're
like,
gaslighting us right now. You are literally gaslighting us with this topic right now. That was your plan, wasn't it, dude?
no.
That was your whole plan. Let's talk about gaslighting. And I'm going to gaslight everybody with a topic about gaslighting.
That's
That was
not
your
what
plan.
I'm
That
wasn't
actually
it?
does
Yes,
sound.
it was.
Yeah.
That
No.
is, that
I just know that everybody
right
doesn't have any fucking understanding of what gaslighting is. Like
Oh, you're putting it on a
if I think that
spectrum, aren't
if I
you?
think you
Put
betrayed me,
gaslighting on a spectrum.
if I think you betrayed me and I'm wrong about everything, it doesn't. There's nothing you can like. You tell me all the information. I'm like, oh, so you tell me like about actual facts that happened. Like that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about feelings. Like so, if I think that you showed up at 5 but you showed up at 4. You correcting me on that is not gaslighting. But even if I learn and know like all the accurate details and I still think you betrayed me and it makes no fucking sense to you, like that's just my fucking feeling. And our feelings are in the end of the day irrational, and you cannot logic someone out of their feelings.
But you're still wrong to feel that because you weren't betrayed. So you're gaslighting someone by saying, I feel like you betrayed me, even though they didn't betray you.
Wait. We need to separate something real quick. Okay. If I say, I feel like you told us that we're all ugly, right? I say, I feel like that happened, right? That's not really a feeling, though I'm presenting it in a feeling. I'm telling you, I think this. So even though I'm saying I think this, I'm presenting it as a feeling, but it's not really a feeling. And a lot of the things that you guys are giving examples of, they're not feelings. They're what you think.
Right. So the thing that would be the thing that would be the example would be if I said that what you said made me feel ugly, and no matter what you say cannot change. You shouldn't make you feel ugly though, but it did. Like the thing you just said made me feel ugly. Like theoretically, that makes no fucking sense. But you can't fight me on that. Like that's how I feel. And if you convince me that I don't feel that way, that is gaslighting because that's actually how I felt.
Okay, Lauren, go ahead.
Getting someone to change their mind is not gaslighting. Gaslighting is like trying to convince someone they're crazy when they're actually accurately perceiving reality. So, for instance, when I was watching Catfish earlier today, and this girl was like, "Hey, do you have any kids?" And this guy was like, "No." And then later, she was like, "So do you have a child?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I have a son." And she was like, "Why? When I asked earlier, did you say you have no kids?" He's like, "Well, you asked if I have kids. I only have a son." And she was like you were being dishonest. And he was like, "No, I wasn't." Like, I feel like maybe that would be more aligned with gaslighting, where it's like a clearly not telling the truth and trying to make her feel crazy for not seeing. Like,
yes.
No, you're crazy because you asked me if I had multiple kids, and I answered it correctly, and now you're saying now you think I'm lying, but like that makes you the crazy one. That's a good example of gaslighting.
Yes, but what I'm saying is usually all these arguments come down to values or feelings. So the best example I can give is abortion, okay? At the end of the day, either you think it's murder or you don't, okay? And that's just a fucking feeling. And you cannot, you cannot like argue.
Actually, no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think if you think it, whether you think it's murder or not comes down to a legal decision. Like, because murder is a legal term. So you're deciding whether or not it should be a crime.
No,
is
okay.
whether
But why do you want it to be considered a crime or not?
Hang on.
No, I think he's saying it's taking a life.
Hold on. Let Coder finish.
Yeah. Okay. So the decision about like whether or not abortion should be legal and like the abortion debate, it's not really about whether you think it's like murdering a human person or whatever. It's really about whether or not you think that person should have the right to do that, whether you think it's a person or not, whether you think they should have the right to have that, to do that. So it doesn't really matter if you think it's murder or not.
No, so whether or not you think they should have the right to that depends on how you feel about it.
No,
What if you feel that they're wrong? What if you feel that they're wrong?
If you feel that we shouldn't have the right to kill to do abortions, that's just
I'm saying
bedrock.
regardless of what they feel, I'm saying what if you yourself feel that that person's wrong? Do you
that is
say
how I
that
feel.
their feelings?
It's how I feel. It's
So
not
do
how
you
they
think that
feel.
the feelings of the person, the first person,
I think that the way
mean
they
more
feel,
than the feelings of the second person?
No, I think the way neither person's feelings have to override another person's feelings. That would be gaslighting. I think that the way the other person feels is how they feel, and how I feel is how I feel.
Hold on. I thought we tried to separate like what you think and how you feel, right? So right now we're saying they think this thing happened, right? And we're saying, but there's a factual thing here, and they're just trying to convince the other person that they are wrong on the facts. And you're saying that trying to convince them that they're wrong on the facts is gaslighting.
No, I explicitly said that it's not the case. I'm saying that we're trying to convince somebody.
You said that, but
so if I
somebody
feel
gives an example,
if
you're arguing
murder,
with them, and that is the case. You're going back on what you said.
I'm arguing with you right now. And no, I'm saying no. You undid all the work that I just did. Let me redo the work that I just did. Okay, the best example is fucking abortion. Okay, if I feel if it gives me the ick, it horrifies me. I feel like it's wrong. I see it as taking a life. I see it as something we should not allow. And you're telling me that is wrong because you feel otherwise. You're trying to we have different feelings, and you're trying to you're saying my feeling is wrong because it should be what you feel, and that is gaslighting.
Well,
do you know what a debate is?
The third point of that doesn't necessarily you can feel like it's a wrong thing to do. You can feel like it's bad, that it's evil even. But that can be separate from you thinking whether or not it should be legal. I think those can be like.
I don't think those are. I don't think those are.
I'll be right back. I gotta find my glasses.
A lot of people actually think that abortion is.
I'll be right back. I gotta find my glasses real quick. So
gaslighting.
A lot of people really.
Gaslighting is not two people. Hold on. Gaslighting is not two people mutually disagreeing and try to convince each other of each other's truths. Gaslighting is when you know the truth, you want to convince somebody that the other person knows the truth, but you want to convince the person that truth's not real, even though we both know the truth.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is the thing I'm talking about is the truth is I feel this way about it, and you're saying that that's not true. You shouldn't feel that way. You're wrong. You're wrong to feel that way.
Okay.
To tell somebody they shouldn't feel some way isn't the same thing as telling them that their feelings are wrong.
Okay, real quick. We're going to have to do this real quick. Okay, hold on. We're going to have to do this because everybody here agrees on what gaslighting is, except for Smith. But Smith is using the word gaslighting because it makes his question a lot more hyperbolic. We can either use a different word than gaslighting, and then have that conversation about whether or not the actions are right or wrong, or we can continue arguing over the semantics. What do you?
You're trying to make you're making someone feel as if they're crazy for feeling the way they do because their feelings are irrational and your feelings are more rational than theirs.
Let me give you an example. Okay, so there's a couple, right, and they're fighting in their house. The guy just got home and he thinks his wife's cheating on him. The guy that she's cheating on him with is outside. That just jumped out the window, okay? And she's in there screaming, "How dare you think I'm cheating on you? All you do is just push me to think, all you do is say, I'm cheating on you, when you know that's not true, it's not fair." That is gaslighting. She knows she's cheating on him. He knows that she's cheating on him.
We all agree on that part.
But she refuses to...
We all agree on that part.
Can I?
That's the only way.
But that's
gaslighting.
Can we not just not use the word gaslighting and talk about the scenario that he's talking about and talk about whether or not this is right or wrong and whether or not we can do this thing? Because we all agree on what gaslighting
you can
is,
do it.
except this.
No.
So I'm asking, what do you want to do? What is your topic about? Is it about whether or not it's gaslighting, or is it about whether or not the thing is right or wrong?
No, it is literally gaslighting when it is true that I feel a certain way and you're telling me that I'm wrong to feel that way.
Right. My question is your topic about whether or not we use the label gaslighting for this, or is your topic about whether or not this is right or wrong?
Partner does something awful to another partner, to their partner, and they say like, "Oh, I did that because I love you." Like they're justifying it that way. Like they might even think that. They might even like believe in their heart of hearts that like their behavior there was justified because they care so much about that person, but they still did something terrible to them, and they're still convincing them that like it's okay because I just did it because I care about you, and that's the way I'm supposed to act because I care about you so much.
I feel like that's justifying your bad actions. I don't know if I would necessarily classify that as gaslighting. Like gaslighting for me is trying to convince your partner that, like, the term derives from a play in which a man continued to slowly increase the gas that the gaslight was giving out to make his wife think that she was slowly going blind. And he was like, no, it's not. So that's where the phrase comes from. So it's from like the idea comes from trying to make somebody feel crazy. Have I seen the play?
I've seen the movie.
Yeah, I think you did. For me, I think there needs to be intent. I've just been thinking about it for a bit. I think there needs to be intent.
No. Okay, so what you guys are not moving. You guys are keep moving. You keep moving way back to the stupid point that we all agree is gaslighting. You're like, no, we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to only talk about the easy example where I know that I know that the gas.
So
I know that I turned the light down. I know that I turned the light down, but I'm going to tell you that I didn't turn the. What? I know that I turned.
Take on okay, never mind. Sorry.
I cut out, so I don't know what we were doing. I reconnected.
We started talking about whether or not we think there's intent that's necessary for something to be called gaslighting.
I have a point about that. So like there's the factual thing of like I actually turned the gaslight down, but I'm telling you that I'm not, so you think that you're crazy because I'm lying about the facts, so you think that you're crazy, and when the fact is you feel bad about abortion. You do not like abortion. That's just a fact. And I'm telling you that's wrong. That is gaslighting.
But you just saying that doesn't make it true. You have to explain why.
So anyways.
Because the fact, you're telling them that the fact, which is a matter of fact, undeniable fact, that this person thinks abortion is wrong. And you're telling them that is wrong. That is gaslighting.
So anyways, my point as to why there doesn't have to be intent is because gaslighting initially is a lie, and there are people out there who do not realize that they are lying, that cannot stop themselves from lying, so they can easily gaslight without realizing they're gaslighting.
Okay, so Smith, the difference on what you're talking about is they are not trying to convince the person that they don't think that abortion is wrong. They're trying to
crazy for thinking
it isn't wrong.
No,
that they're wrong. No, it's on the fact of the matter that
their feeling is wrong.
No, not your feeling. We're not talking about feelings. We're talking about the fact of the matter, whether or not it is or is not wrong. So
that is not a fact.
It's not a feeling.
You're wrong.
No,
you are wrong. It's not a fact.
Smith, listen to me. Smith, shut the fuck up. Smith, you are talking about what you think, not what you feel. Stop saying feel. We're talking about think.
Okay.
You think that it is wrong.
This is why I named the panel this. This is why I named the panel this. Okay, I'm telling you, if you think that abortion is good and you think that it's bad, it doesn't go to what you think. It is what you feel. It is you have a value of you value the fetus as a life. You think that you feel bad about killing it. You think it's bad because you feel bad. Your values come from your feelings. Always. The things that we make into laws come from what people feel is wrong. I feel like it's bad to kill people. That's the only reason we make it illegal. Like we don't want people to do things that that make us feel bad. We don't think it makes us feel bad when people look at child porn, so we make it illegal. That's why we have it. That's why it's fucking illegal.
That's not why it's illegal. That it's illegal because
It's illegal because we don't want a
The
society
topic
that
isn't
looks at
about
child
legal
porn.
or not. It's about what gaslighting is. It's not whether
okay,
or
yeah,
not
so
what
you're saying that to just
child
you're
porn and
derailing my
abortion
fucking
have
point,
nothing to
Ginger.
do with
You
it.
are derailing my
No,
fucking
you're
point.
derailing your own point. No, you're derailing your own
What the fuck
point.
does that even mean? This is how is this
Hold
not
on.
gaslighting right now? Like I'm derailing my own point. Do you? What the fuck does that even mean?
Quiet.
That's gaslighting, her saying that?
Yeah.
Hold on. We've been on this for 30 minutes.
So
We're gonna go
disagreeing
on
is
to the next-
gaslighting. You
No,
got it,
telling me
Tom.
I'm
We're gonna go
derailing
to
my
the
own
next
fucking
topic.
point.
Okay.
I have a
Well,
topic.
maybe it's how I
muting
felt.
people. I gotta start muting people. We gotta move on to the next topic. We've been on this for 30 minutes. Okay. We're gonna who raise your hand if you want to go next to your topic. Lauren, you want to go next?
Yeah, I sent you a picture essentially of what my topic is.
I wasn't even fucking able to make my point. Fuck you all.
Wait,
Oh,
what does
I'm
that mean?
sorry.
What do you
Wanna
mean you
go-
weren't able to make your
He
point?
wants a closing statement. Have a closing statement there.
Okay, and you have a closing statement. Fine, that
Okay,
works.
so when somebody feels a certain way, and abortion is not a matter of fact of if abortion is good or bad. That if it's good or bad depends on how you feel. And so when it's a matter of feeling, which all of your values come from your feelings, then if you tell someone that their feeling is wrong, you're gaslighting them. Period.
Okay. All right, Lauren, you're next. Go ahead.
I think that I disagree with the definition of gaslighting. I think that you need to intend to lie
Your
to a
topic.
person. Oh, my topic. Oh,
Yes.
I thought it was final statements.
Yeah, I thought so
Okay.
too.
We're not doing opening and closing statements on any of the topics. We're just
That takes a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, I sent you a picture of it, but essentially, there has been a really horrific video going around. I'm sure most of you have seen it. There was a man. He was walking around. I forget which liberal city hellscape it was, like Portland or Seattle or one of those. And he he had no self-protection like available, and he was on the street with his girlfriend, and he ended up confronting a homeless man. Homeless man really came, attacked them, and stabbed him, and he did not make it. And the girlfriend kind of hid behind him and was not super helpful in the endeavors. And when the police asked the girlfriend for help in searching for the man, she was not super helpful because the man was, a black homeless man, and she was a liberal white lady, and she's extreme, like ACAB, all cops are bastards, Marxist, liberal. And so she kind of didn't help the police because she doesn't like the police, and she doesn't want to appear racist, and she doesn't want to appear intolerant towards homeless people, like liberal moral values or whatever.
Is this something that she said?
Yeah, exactly. Did she say that?
Yeah, like she made the police investigation difficult. Like she refused to give details about the person who stabbed the boyfriend to the police.
But when they asked why, is that the excuse that she gave?
No, that's what
People are jumping to a conclusion.
People are jumping to that conclusion because she has pictures of her wearing a shirt that says ACAB. She has a license plate that says K Marks on it. Yeah, so she appears really liberal, so people are coming to this conclusion that that's why she didn't help the police.
I didn't see that on the video. Like I saw the stabbing, but I didn't see that in police interaction part. So
yeah, it sounds like to be clear, you're saying that's why you think she didn't tell the police, right?
That's what's being reported.
Okay.
So I mean, that's what's being reported. But I mean, I can't read her mind. I guess you're correct in saying like I am somewhat jumping to conclusions, but so yeah. So my issue
is it possible? I'm sorry, I didn't really say.
It's not really the issue that I'm really trying to get at. So even though I think like, and this is me personally as a conservative, even though I think she was wrong about like the whole police and her opinions and all of that, I don't like that on Twitter conservatives are using this point and making memes and jokes and mocking the issue. Do you think that that's a reasonable way to react? Like when your side has a win in a tragic matter, do you think using it as a political point, especially in like a comedic way, is ever appropriate? Specifically,
can you explain that more you're saying that your question is whether or not conservatives are doing something wrong by making fun of the girl for not talking to the police.
Yeah, like are specific, not just any conservative reporting on the matter or making a point to the matter, but the one specifically making memes and mocking the girl and saying like she's. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a counter like scenario. There is a televangelist who prayed all the time, and on TV he would always say, COVID's not real. We pray COVID out of everybody. Blah blah blah. Dude died of COVID. All right, is that not funny?
Is that funny?
I don't think
like
it's funny.
that's like another example of like a tragedy. Like you shouldn't like make fun of anyone's death. Like you could. I think it's like something that should be discussed about, especially like if you want to.
I want to clarify.
Actually, yeah, I do think it's funny. Actually,
there were tons of leftists on Twitter that were making fun of this guy and his family and anybody who believed him. So it's like I do agree with you, but unfortunately, it's on both sides and it's equal on both sides.
She's just talking about the politics of it. Yeah, she's a conservative.
Yeah, no, I don't.
She's just talking about like
right.
whether or not we should do these sorts of things.
No, I don't think it's right, but unfortunately, I also don't think that it's something that can be stopped when Twitter is the way that it is. Like, I don't think. Go ahead. Sorry.
I get the humor. Like, yeah, I get the humor, but for me, like I find it appalling to make that like a public, like in a certain case, in one of these type of scenarios, I might make that joke with a friend and I don't have any connection, but to do that publicly is really, it's upsetting because the people that connected might see it, and especially when it becomes a big meme, and that's just.
Well, so let me give another counter example.
Well, before you do, can I
yeah, go ahead.
on what's been said so far. I think the person who died of COVID, I think there was even like an entire like subreddit dedicated to people in this scenario. Like I think it was the Herman Cain Awards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people who denied COVID and then died from it. I think that these kind of jokes, like whether or not you think they're okay or whatever, I think that if you are going to put those out like next to your face, you have to like understand that a lot of people are going to look at you sideways. A lot of people are not going to, they're going to change, they might change the way they feel about you. And if you're willing to live with that, then I mean, like, do you, I guess. Like I'm sure that I've shared some spicy memes in the past, and I've definitely laughed at some memes that I would never share as well. So
there are things that
yeah.
I wish I hadn't said, or I wish I hadn't done, or some like like an idea about a situation that I wish I would have thought through before I spout out my opinion on it when I wasn't even sure if that was my actual initial opinion, but I was upset. I'm not. There are plenty of things that
for me, I'm actually like totally against this shit completely. Like I don't think you should be able to like go use people's fucking tragedies to gain some type of clout or income or something off of it. This isn't like, especially like when it comes to like people's real lives, you fuck with a lot of people's real lives and this shit. Like I think it was you, Ginger, said that there's no way to stop this, but like if they were more strict on this type of shit, you could stop it. It's
like more stigma.
The only way you're going to stop it,
first off, and like just not letting it happen. Like if you're fucking using people's tragedies to fucking gain a following or whatever you think it's funny to do, if someone reports that it gets fucking reviewed, they should fucking take it out. It's simple.
But I'm very First Amendment. Sorry, I'm very pro First Amendment. I'm very anti-censorship.
I need to ask a clarifying question though, because I'm not even.
That's like harassment. It's not just free
before we
speech
continue, because I'm not understanding either. Like, okay, so you have the woman who's like, she's like sexually assaulted or something like that, right? And isn't that what you said, that like a homeless person assaulted her?
Have you seen this
No, he
viral?
stabbed her boyfriend to death.
Yes.
Okay, so he stabbed her boyfriend to death. Okay, and so you're saying that it's messed up to make fun of her for not talking to the police because it's a tragic situation?
So she's extremely liberal, like based off her social media, and
Just
she's in a liberal town.
There's like a massive difference between liberal and like ACAB Marxist.
She's like extreme left. She's like extreme ACAB Marxist leftist, like extreme leftist.
You saw her license plate, right?
Yeah.
I don't know
sent-
anything
Oh, I'm
about
asking.
this.
I'm asking Tom. Oh,
I've
she
only
sent it.
seen what
She sent a picture in the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
her
then-
license plate says K marks on
Also,
it.
Yeah, so I'm
It's-
asking, what is the bad part here? Like, what is the yes? I
Okay.
think it's stupid not to talk
Okay.
to the police. So I'm asking,
Super-
what is the
super liberal, doesn't want to talk to the police. She has made it all, like, basically conservatives are like, she got what she voted for. Like, she wanted this. She voted for the homeless to be allowed
this is
to
Joe
commit
Biden's America?
Yeah, this is Joe Biden's America, essentially, which, like, I totally understand. As a fucking conservative, I agree. But simultaneously, should we then make her a meme? Should we turn her into that man is not real girl? Should we turn her into the next one of those?
That was such a great voice, dude. That was amazing.
Thank
Well done.
Thank you.
I actually Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Well, why not?
think-
That's my
I-
question. No, I don't feel like my question is answered. Why not? That's
I'm
my
gonna
question.
answer it
Why
because
not?
like you're driving,
no.
like you could drive this girl to do even fucking worse shit to herself. What do you mean?
But
Wait,
now
I wanna,
you're
I
saying
wanna
don't
speak
turn
on what
anybody into
Speakeasy
a meme.
actually.
Like, am I allowed to
I wanna-
like go
I wanna-
outside your house and just fucking scream shit at you all
No,
day?
but your
I'm
argument is
also-
don't turn anybody into a meme. That's your
No,
argument.
I have a
no,
different argument
no,
that I don't know
no,
if she's
no.
making, but I have a different one. I think different for him too. I'm also pro free speech.
Ginger's point really quick. Ginger's point really quick. Go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to speak to Speakeasy's point. When you were saying earlier that that people shouldn't be making money off that situation, there are people like on YouTube that do it. They make money off of it. Like there are drama channels and stuff like that. Even the true crime channels that make money off of stuff like that. So are you saying that none of that should be allowed
No,
either?
there's a difference. Wait. With the true crime, when you're talking about true crime that are reporting on like cases and stuff like this.
Oh no! I'm talking about like the women who sip their tea and discuss true crime and make money off the fact that these people died.
It's comparable.
So
It is
like,
comparable.
are they? So they're making a mockery out of the people dying and fucking.
Not
Getting involved in
necessarily a
their real
mockery, but I mean, some of them bring that
Okay,
up. That
I'm
they
not
shouldn't
against
necessarily
talking
bring
about
up.
situations that happen. I'm against fucking it's called tragedy pimping. You're using people's tragedies to fucking get yourself something further.
But that's
Like,
what
and
people
then-
would call
yeah,
drama
in-
streamers.
With the what?
Right, like a tozy.
That's what people say
Do you know
about
who a
drama
tozy is?
Okay, but like drama streamers. Okay, this is not a thing. I hate this fucking. This is not a thing. Drama streamers is not a thing. There's
You're
different-
gaslighting me right now.
Yeah, well, I'm
Mhm.
gonna gaslight you for a second. This is not a thing. There's different genres in YouTube. Like there's the Twitch poll, true crime, different things, and then there's drama that happens in these communities. And
No,
there's like
There's
so they'll
entire
call,
drama.
like, true crime drama. It'll be like crama. Like there's no just
No.
drama. If you're a fucking
yes.
just drama channel, that's what you are.
There
is a
really are.
tragedy
Yeah,
fucking
but
channel.
no, that's like like
There are
lots of
just
people
drama
say
channels.
drama channel.
Hold
but
on,
there's
hold
Club Logic,
I
who's
need
just a
to
drama
say it.
channel. There's who's the big guy who like started all of it. Freaking damn it, dude. He just like retired recently.
Nicholas
He has,
Diorio.
no, the guy above him.
No,
Drama.
Well, when you said big
drama
guy.
alert. Drama alert. What's his name?
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
oh, Keemstar.
Keemstar. Yes,
Yeah.
Keemstar is 100% drama, all drama,
drama
nothing
channel.
but drama. His show is called Drama Alert. Like there are tons of channels who literally do nothing but drama, and people
Yeah.
act as
Like,
though
they're
they
just
are
making fun
benefiting
of
off the
death?
tragedy of other people.
There's
They're making-
entire-
Do you know?
Not-
do you know-
there are times when they're talking about
entire
death. But
communities where all they do is generate drama and then talk about the drama that
Deaf
they generate.
Noodles. Deaf Noodles is a great example.
There's so many drama channels. Like what?
there
Yeah.
are tons of drama channels.
I guess Speakeasy. Can I ask if you for the people who might be like
No.
making light of it or using it like the tragedy pimping as you say? Do you think that should be like banned off of YouTube? And like how would that
Yeah,
work?
you shouldn't like be able to like dox people. You shouldn't be able to fucking use
guess
people's
so.
deaths to fucking harass somebody that was in like a family member of that person's death. You shouldn't be able to fucking use people's kids to harass them. Like
Okay,
this-
so
this-
earlier
hang
you
on,
said
hang
don't
on.
make
you
a
shouldn't be
meme out
able
of
to
this
fucking
stuff.
do this shit.
Earlier, you said it's bad to make a meme out of this, and I said you're making an argument against
I'll be right
all
back.
memes. So I'm asking, where do you separate these? How do you
No, it
not
wasn't.
say?
It wasn't all memes. No, it wasn't.
But
all
no,
wanna
but
know.
you're
I
not
wanna know that.
saying
Me
all
and fuck-
memes. But
me
I
and
feel
you
like
fucking roasting
your
each other's
argument
luck.
applies to all memes, is what I'm saying. Your
Okay,
argument
listen.
applies to all memes about people.
No. If me and you were like roasting, no, I wasn't trying to say all memes. Just like me, if me and you are roasting each other's looks and shit, or what we present on YouTube, like our takes and this type of shit, that's what drama. That's the drama. That's like everybody expects this type of shit. If you started posting up my kids, making fun of my kids, or my family member just died, and you're doing that, you're crossing fucking lines. You're not like you can't do this shit.
I think I understand that line.
If
but
you
I
went
guess,
around my city
That
posting
seems
up
like a different
pictures of
line.
my kids, you go to jail.
Can I ask if I were to start a YouTube channel, right? Like after the Herman Cain Awards, like subreddit took off, and I spend my YouTube channel just like reading the funniest Herman Cain Award memes that I could find. Like I'm starting a YouTube channel. It gets really popular. People are donating me money, and I'm just reading these memes about people who died and also were denying COVID. Like, do you think that? And I'm making light of it. I'm laughing at it. I think it's hilarious, and my audience thinks it's hilarious. Do you think that should be like banned?
So you're reading something that's making fun of.
Yeah, it's just
people,
memes, just memes, like text on a picture of the guy who died, like a picture of Herman Cain, and then like quotes of his, and we're just like we have a whole circle jerk about it. We're just having the time of our lives, cracking up, cracking jokes, making fun of him for saying something and then dying as kind of a downstream result of it.
Okay, so you're making fun of a guy because he was saying that COVID isn't real and he died from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But you think?
I don't think you should be. Yeah, I don't think you should be
YouTube
fucking
should stop people from doing that.
Yeah, I don't think you should be doing that. Yeah,
Okay,
like that's fucked up, bro.
I don't agree with Speakeasy,
Yeah,
but I think I have something in common with him. But I think there's a bridge here, but I don't agree with you. I agree with Lauren about free speech. Like I've added that a lot. But the thing that I think we're lacking, and I think it's disgusting. That's a trend with all the things you're saying is just a moral backbone. Just people see everything like the news and like the tragedies is just like content, and we have no moral we're just. Like, oh, like haha, like you got stabbed, haha, girl, you're a liberal and your boyfriend got stabbed, haha, that's so fucking funny. We're just immoral.
See, listen, if this is the difference too, like these people are like when you're on the internet making these memes to be vile and harassing to the people involved in the situation. Some people, when I have this argument, they'll be like, what about stand-up comedy? When you go to a comedy show or you watch a comedy show, everything's fucking a joke. That person isn't fucking real. Everything they're saying isn't real. You know that this is the whole context. They're not being vile. They're trying to make light of something that is fucking dark. You know what I mean? That's the difference with comedy to this tragedy pimp and shit. Making fucking humor out of tragedies to fucking gain some type of thing. Whatever it is, clout, money, whatever.
Seems like that's kind of a thin line though, because like I could again like the channel that I was describing, I could do that, and I can frame myself as a comedian. Like maybe when I'm offline, I'm like sobbing because of what I just like laughed about for so long. I mean, maybe I'm not being sincere about my like making jokes about it. But I'm still like profiting off of making jokes about it and making jokes off this tragedy. And also I think I think the framing of the original point, it was not only that, but like using it for like to make my political opposition look silly, like people who were out denying that COVID was killing people, like Trump saying it was going to be gone in a few days and then catching COVID, eventually like stuff like that. Like it feels like that kind of falls into that as well.
It's like I think the problem is we stop seeing people as human when it's convenient for us to make a point or just because it's funny. And our sense of humanity is like with all the social media stuff, we just so easily will switch somebody off from human mode. You're just a meme.
I would argue the example. I keep going back to this example because I think it's like pertinent to this. Like the humanity of those people can even like contribute to the darkness and the point that's being made of the meme. Like you're like, isn't it's funny that this person said this and they died, but it's also horrible. And like, how awful is that? And wow, I really wish people wouldn't say this and get more people to be in their shoes, which are now in a casket. Like that's awful.
Yeah, the people reacting negatively. So like, even if you have a channel, so Speakeasy wasn't saying this, but I think if you have a channel where you just react to this shit, but you talk about how bad it is, you still wring in your hands every time a tragedy happened because that's your bread and butter. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
You're saying talking bad about it and just reporting on it is the same thing?
you like people who make their whole lives about talking about how like just tragedy shit. I mean, I don't think it's too immoral. Like people can do it, but I think it's just a little yucky.
So okay, so like you think like so like say someone in my family just passed away. I said, "Oh, yesterday this family member passed away." And then you went and started like fucking making jokes about it, putting their picture up, fucking making a bunch of content about it. Clown roast of speakeasies, fucking whatever. You know, like you think you should be able to do this?
To some extent, yes, but also I think that people should. I've and this is nothing I could make a law. This is a non-solution, but I think that people should be like repulsed by it, you know, but they aren't.
Well,
But I think they aren't because we have
most
so many
people
fucking
are.
teenagers on the internet. It's all full of fucking 12-year-olds and shit. That's what I think. That's part of the problem.
No, most
And
people are repulsed by it when it's their own person
that's
happening.
that's the problem is
Yeah.
that nothing online really has a like a real life consequence, and that's what people are getting used to now. So they don't think that there's consequences in actual IRL stuff as well. And that's a huge issue that we're running into because people are so mind fucked by social media that they don't really understand that taking the same mentality that you have online, which you shouldn't have online, by the way, and taking it and putting out into the real world has actual real effects.
Like voting
Yeah.
for Trump.
Fucking God.
It
No,
was a
but for
meme.
real though, like that's exactly like that's the point for me. Like there's certain lines that shouldn't be allowed to be fucking crossed on the internet. Period. Like it's just like it was like when we had that doxing conversation. Like this is there's a line that it's too fucking far. You know what I mean?
I mean, I agree there are lines, but I just don't know. Like, it's hard for me to like draw that line in this case. Like, I don't know exactly like what would make sense or what I'd even be okay with. Like, I'm not really sure.
Well, I mean,
it's-
so
it's-
let's say there's a woman. Let me give a couple examples. Let's just get a show of hands on who would have a problem with these. Okay. So we got a school shooting. A woman is like really ugly crying outside of the school, and she's on the news, and people take her ugly crying and make that into a meme. Raise your hand if you have an issue with that.
That's what
Like on a legal level, or like, or just
No,
like,
just like
just
we're
morally,
talking
yeah.
about moral issues.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just
yeah.
a humanity
It's
level.
upsetting.
Yeah,
It's upsetting.
humanity level.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
so we got
that's fucked
just
up.
the bottom three. Hold on, show
No,
of
no.
hands. If you have a problem with it, I want to see your hand.
On a moral level,
Smith
not
is
a legal
To be
frozen.
fair, Smith.
Okay, yeah.
To be
so at a
fair,
moral
Smith
level.
might be.
Yeah, his hand
Yeah,
might be
Smith.
up.
We're gonna assume his hand is up. Okay.
Oh, you can't see me?
Um,
You can't see me?
No, you.
No,
No,
you've
you're
been
frozen.
freezing a lot.
Yeah, you freeze every once in a while, but
Great
we'll
freeze
assume
right
your
now.
hand is up. Okay. All right, put your hands down. Let's say there is a somebody gets robbed on the street, and like I don't know, they like take their freaking shirt off, and it's a really hot woman, and everybody like somebody films it, and now people take this video of this hot woman and screenshot that, and now this hot babe standing there in the middle of the street
Wait, what does
turns
that have
into
to
a
do with the purse being stolen?
the fact that it's a tragedy. That's what we're talking about, right? Because people ugly crying, nobody has a problem with that turning into a meme. You have a problem with an ugly crying thing outside of a school when it just got shot up. You don't have a problem with ugly crying in general, right? Nobody's mad about Michael Jordan's ugly crying getting turned.
Right.
Wait, I'm so
So-
confused. Why would you be upset about a woman who had her purse stolen and decides to take her shirt off in the middle of the street?
Her shirt got stolen. Her shirt got stolen. She's
Her
and
shirt
she's
got
out there.
stolen.
Yes, her shirt
Oh.
got stolen. She's like a sports bra, super hot babe. Turns into a meme, gets spread all over the internet.
Well,
right?
yeah.
Goes
Not only
viral.
is this illegal, this is wrong as fuck.
That's so
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sure,
completely-
we're
Consider revenge porn.
talking
Well, hold
about
on.
some
The
different
big
levels
diff-
here. So
the
yeah,
big difference there is that one of them is a public figure and one of them is not. I think, like
No, well,
Wait,
in
what?
this case,
The
neither
like a
none of them were
wardrobe
public.
wardrobe
Oh,
malfunction.
you mean with Michael Jordan?
Yeah, like when like wardrobe malfunction is way less like that happens, and I mean it's kind of shitty and gross, but like it's way less immoral than some random person on the street that we make a meme. You know what
Wait, so you're saying
Do you
if it was Oprah crying outside of the school, you would have less of a problem with it?
I mean? Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Wait.
think that's
So
what
the
he
context
means.
of the
I don't wait.
I felt like the context
I don't think
of the
he's
first
saying that
one,
right.
Like if I was
Yeah, so the question was on the
we
first.
were laughing at her for crying, and the second one, or we're just admiring that there's a hot babe with her. Like, what's the?
Yeah,
or
so
making
so
fun
well,
of
so
her.
right now, Smith is saying that if it's Oprah ugly crying outside of school after a school shooting, he would view that very differently as turning Oprah's face ugly crying.
Well, why is
into a
Oprah there
meme.
crying anyways?
It's just
Sorry,
it's immoral to make fun of the shooting. It's immoral to make fun of
I
the
would
shooting.
just assume
but
that she was there for publicity.
If it's a private person, their face becoming like the face of a tragedy porn joke is different than a public figure's face. It's
Wait,
Okay.
hold on. Are we mad at the? Are we mad that the woman who got on camera screaming
Her shirt stolen.
Biden
Well, so
lose?
literally, I was about to go to this. Yeah, so that was Trump, where Trump gets elected, and there's the person in the yellow vest. Like, yes, that's literally the next thing I was going to bring up. Like,
That was hilarious.
I'm trying to like
by the
give
way.
like an escalation of like starting with things that I think everybody would obviously agree that are like pretty messed up things, and then slowly work to see where there's actually some disagreement, and then find out why there's disagreement, because everybody agrees that there are tragedies that are bad enough to where you shouldn't meme about it. But where that line is drawn, it is going to be subjective, and there's likely going to be a lot of disagreement on some different scenarios. So I'm trying to give different scenarios, starting with
Can
things
you
that
give a
everybody
more?
agree with.
But can you give a more realistic scenario? Because the woman getting her shirt stolen is. I'm
it's
stuck.
very weird.
I'm
Yeah, that
really
one.
stuck.
It was also
I'm
hard to
also-
isolate what
Okay,
was
wait,
going on there.
sharking in Japan, it's the same thing. It happens like they'll remove women's panties in public. That happens.
Before you give a real another scenario, you know what? Fuck, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Well, okay. You want to? You got it? No.
Literally lost my train of thought. No.
Well,
You were
also
thinking about the you were
the
thinking about the
girl-
panties.
the girl in the vest or whatever that when Trump won. I mean, that's also like I would argue that like it's kind of shitty. Like to just laugh at that and not acknowledge that also this person's like genuinely scared for like the future of the country, and like she was right to be. I mean, like eventually what happened was
Oh
that
my
Trump
God.
gave it to
Well,
judges.
okay,
Her
hold
right to
on.
an abortion was overturned potentially.
Hold
like,
on.
depending what state she
Let's
lives in.
say we find out that the person in
But
the
not under
yellow vest.
Trump's rule.
because of
It
the
wasn't
well,
under
so-
Trump's
he
rule. The
appointed,
abortion.
because of the appointees that he had. Yes, absolutely under Trump's rule. He's proud of it.
Okay.
He brags about it. It was his fault.
Okay, so let's say we find out that the person
You mean his
same
feelings?
exact person,
Yeah.
but we find out that this person is like mentally ill, like can barely cope within society. We find out that this person has a lot of issues. Would we feel different about that meme?
Oh wait, hold on.
It'd be
Quick thing.
worse.
There is an entire website that could tell you.
Well,
behind-
worse. So far, everybody thinks it's fine right now. So you can't say worse when it's not even bad in the first place. It would go from fine to bad, is what we're asking.
There's this whole thing where you could look up like behind the meme, and you find out that a lot of memes actually come from really tragic, really awful,
Really
situations.
tragic shit.
And like
Mhm.
none of us like give a shit. We
What
said,
I
about the
thought
one with the house being burned in the background and the kids just sitting
Oh my
there
God.
smiling and everybody's like, ooh.
I thought the Michael Jordan crying meme was messed up. Like I actually did. I thought that
Or
was
how
like
about the Will Smith
really,
one?
or maybe it was Will Smith. It was somebody.
No,
It was somebody
no,
crying.
There's a Michael Jordan one and there's a Will Smith one, and they're both.
Yeah, there was one that I thought was really
There's
like
something
crap.
about Will Smith crying that gets me every time. I don't even care what scenario it's in. He cries, I cry. It just, he's good at it.
Yeah, no,
I just
so like
think
they all come from pretty tragic situations, and like we need to. It's so funny because I started this topic and I came into it one way, but I'm convincing myself otherwise. Like, I'm very pro First Amendment. So legally, I think all of this
Stop
shit
saying
should be
Lauren.
allowed
You
to
keep talking
happen.
about this. You're talking about legality when you say First Amendment.
Morally, I guess I purposely wouldn't turn a tragedy into a comedy so quickly. That being said, just because I found out like a meme came from like a really tragic place, like just because I find out like the Michael Jordan meme came from something tragic, doesn't mean I'm going to stop using it. So I guess maybe there's like everybody's moral line. And maybe some people would be like, "Ooh, I'm going to stop using that because I don't want to continue to perpetuate like male depression."
Well,
Which
it's a
I guess
similar situation with
You don't
people
think
that
it's
stop
kind of
listening
weird,
to,
like people taking pictures of you and putting them up? You don't think that's kind of
Yeah,
weird?
that's the thing. If it's a private person, I think it's way worse. Like this person was not signed up to be like on the internet and shit. But if it's a public figure, it's not as bad. It still can be like weird and shit, but it's so much worse when it's a private individual.
Most memes are just private individuals, like the
Yeah.
black guy going.
or
Well,
what
even
about
Lauren
what about
brought up the
wait,
woman on the plane who's screaming about the shapeshifter or whatever. Like that woman was having a mental breakdown.
After
Or
Jane
the
Doe went on
original, do you guys remember the original memes with like the hat and it had like that guy with like the doofy face, like the original memes that like represented somebody? There was
people, right?
the guy Chad, and then there was like the douchebag with the backwards cap, and then there was like the scrunch. There was like those people who like their facial. They got really famous.
Okay,
oh,
Ginger,
like a guy with a plastic surgery.
hold on, Smith. Hold on. Ginger's been trying to get in.
Sorry.
Well, it just there's a TikTok the original TikTok is of a guy who survived, I think, six bullet shots. Okay, 6 bullet wounds. So the TikTok is of you see everybody did this at one point of doing one of these where the gunshots, or you hear gunshots being heard in the TikTok. That guy actually survived being shot that many times. But people took it and they're like, I survived depression. Bam. I survived my cat being stolen. Bam. Like they took that and made it into something that it really wasn't. So I mean, that's a similar situation.
Yeah.
You don't mean to make it into something, but it turns into something.
It's kind of cool though.
That kind of relates to the point I wanted to make, which is like, especially because I chuckled at it. Like, I think that a lot of times I'll see like some of these really dark memes, or I'll even make like a really dark joke, and then like afterwards, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, it makes me really sad afterwards. But like, it doesn't mean that like I could still find it funny. In fact, I might even find it funny again if I came across it again. But I also still might feel like the empathy for that other person and be like really bummed out about it. So I think there's like an interesting like middle ground here that like I don't think we can like fully, at least I wouldn't like to feel like morally reprehensible for finding something funny and then it like, even if it's a tragedy, like because I could still I could still feel really sad about it, you know.
Okay, speakeasy, go, and then we're gonna let Lauren close out her topic.
Like, what about me?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay, sorry, Smith,
honest,
and then
yeah, I
Speakeasy.
just like, for me, I just like, okay, like I someone brought up the girl on the plane. I remember watching that and thinking, what the fuck is going on? I think I did even like chuckle a bit, but like I wouldn't, now that I like know there's some like mental breakdown there, I wouldn't now go like, look at this fucking dumb bitch. She's fucking, look at her, man. She's fucking retarded.
Just a virtue signal for a second. I like you remember the woman in the store while the black woman is like taunting her, like, look at this white woman freaking out. She swung on me. Look at her. And the woman's like curled up in a ball in the middle of the store, like screaming, like, please stop recording me. Like, I remember getting sent this on stream, and as soon as it started, I was like, I'm not watching this. Like, this is freaking horrible, dude.
Yeah, there's like
would I watch
things
this?
that are like fucked up. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm big on, because like I see so many people talking about like mental health, especially when it comes like the mental health thing. Like, I see a lot of people always like, oh, I advocate for mental health, you know, go see a therapist, oh, this and that. But then they're making fun of people's mental health issues. It's like, what the fuck? You care about people's mental health issues, or you want to fucking do that?
Like that
you know?
girl that they called a racist for having a mental breakdown at a Victoria's Secret a few years
That's what we're
ago.
talking about.
That's what he was
That's what we're
talking
talking about.
Okay,
Somebody's not paying attention.
first of all, she might have not been racist, but as somebody who has seizures, the fact that she faked one, she can go fuck herself.
Did she?
Okay.
I don't
I don't know about that.
Yeah, she pretended to pass out And then she started doing this on the floor. If you're going to tell me that's not her pretending to have a seizure,
I don't know.
Didn't
She's having a mental breakdown. There's all sorts of freaking crap that she's doing. Smith, go ahead.
I
Yeah,
think the
she
most.
has-
You're not Smith, Lauren. You're not Smith.
You're next. You're next.
You're in your freaking dreams, Lauren.
Yeah, in
I
your
wish I was-
dreams.
Smith, go ahead.
Yeah. I
Wish I had
think
that
that the
dream.
most condemnable thing, the thing that I think I might actually be able to be convinced should be illegal, is the filming of some people having mental breakdowns. Like I don't know, it's just that really irks me. Like you see, like I've seen like a bunch of videos of people having mental breakdowns in supermarkets and taking their clothes off, or like not like people like psychotic people, and then they start like rubbing all the food. Or like I've seen this multiple times now, and people
Oh,
just
the
walk
cake
around
lady?
filming. Yeah, but I've seen this multiple times.
Yeah.
There's multiple different people. People just film the whole thing. Like, come on, dude. Don't fucking film people have mentally ill people freaking out. Like, it's just that bothers me a lot.
You're telling me if you
Yep.
saw that happening, you wouldn't film it though.
Okay,
I don't
Lauren,
know.
we all agree.
I would
Yeah, you-
stare,
Close out
but
your
I don't think
topic.
I'd film it.
Film
You have a
it.
closing statement, Lauren?
Yeah, I think that what you can agree, obviously, the law does not cover everything moral. I want to allow the law to continue to protect the First Amendment to the utmost. People should be allowed to record as much as possible and to post as much as possible, even egregiously offensive things up to the point of harassment. That being said, we as human beings should be more careful to be kind to one another and not put our political like points and jabs above genuine human people who are alive and experiencing a tragedy.
She says
Okay.
after she said she'd filmed the naked woman rubbing cake all over herself.
I would film
Just
I-
kidding, Lauren.
I would 100%. How would you not? Like, even if I know it's morally wrong, like, how would you, like, if that happened in front of you, I would so need, I'd film it. Like, I'm just
You'd
being
need proof. Okay.
honest. I'm not saying I'm
Okay.
necessarily a person.
Who wants to go
Yeah,
next? All right, Radical Coder.
I'm ready.
What's your topic, sir?
My topic is critical race theory should be taught in schools.
All right.
Ugh.
Of course it is.
In fact, I'll add one second piece. I'll say it has been for a long time, and it will continue to be whatever we decide on here. That core tenets of critical race theory are necessary to teach American history.
Okay,
you
so
just-
go ahead and make your Go ahead and make your argument for it, and then once he's done,
Thank you.
I want to see a show of hands on who wants to go ahead and argue against his argument. So
That's
go
what
ahead,
gonna
guys.
be my
Let's
question. I just
gaslight
wanna
the
know-
shit out of him.
Yeah. So the core premise of CRT is examining how race has been constructed, so race is a social construct, and that it's been constructed particularly in the way of oppressing people of color through legislation and societal norms. So students learn, of course, about history, about American slavery, which was particularly racialized. It classified African Americans as property. Students learn about Jim Crow laws. I'm not as sure that students learn about redlining, but I think that they should. Yeah, we can start there.
Okay, real quick. A couple before we go. What grades should they start learning this stuff in?
Whenever they learn about anything that involves racism from our history, we kind of have to talk about this stuff.
From
Okay,
just
and
our
is there
history or
anything
just history
within-
in general?
Well, I mean,
Is there-
particularly American history, but I mean, yeah,
Okay.
like racialization
And-
exists in other countries too. Yeah.
And then is there anything within critical race theory that you don't think should be taught?
Oh, I'm sure that, I mean, it's a really, really deep field. So I'm sure there are people who within critical race theory who have takes I wouldn't agree with and stuff. But I think the core tenets are
Anything off the
valid
top of your mind? Or okay. All right. We're gonna. Well, okay. Lauren, go ahead.
First of all, I want to start by asking him to like list the core tenets of critical race theory that you want to be taught.
I think primarily acknowledging that race is a social construct, not like a biological category. So starting there, I think that's a really important one. Obviously, nobody's saying that people don't have different skin colors, but the category of race is not one that's ever been measured biologically, or certainly not the framing of race as being heritable physical traits combined with like psychological traits, basically like personality traits, which is usually some combination of these things. Like the idea that like Asians are good at math and stuff is like a racialized trait, right? They're not naturally good at math because they're Asian, right?
So
that doesn't exist.
No, but it'd be like probably because their culture is really big on making sure the kids go through and get their education, right?
Sure.
So is that
hold
like
on.
That's not
is that a
considered-
racial bias, or is that your culture? You just know
It's a
about their culture, and that's why.
Ethnic bias.
All right,
Like-
we're gonna have to let people have a couple back and forths on these. So let's let Lauren go down
Yeah,
her
okay,
line.
okay,
real quick.
sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
Okay, so if none of the races are actually distinct from one another, and black people and white people and Asian people and Hispanic people are all one and the same,
What do you mean by one and the same? Because like obviously I'm not denying like human genetic diversity. I'm denying particularly racial categorization. Like ethnicity exists. Like people have ancestry, right? That's why like not all black people are going to have like sickle cell anemia, but a lot of black people from particular regions are going to be more predisposed to having sickle cell anemia. But also a lot of non-black people are going to be predisposed because they also have ancestry from those regions.
Okay, so wait, okay, so race is not a social. So you said that one of the key tenets is that race is a social construct, but now you're acknowledging the reality of like a biological reality of race.
No, I'm acknowledging I'm acknowledging the human genetic diversity exists. That people have different skin colors, because I would have to be like stupid to not know that, right? Like obviously I can look around and see that people have different skin colors, but that doesn't mean that that our genetic diversity falls along racial lines in particular. And moreover, I'd say that the bigger thing is not just that, because I think that's actually like pretty much universally agreed upon, at least in biology. But the further thing is that those false categories were then used to justify legal positions, such as African Americans being like property.
Yeah, the races aren't really as divided as haplogroups.
Okay, Lauren, we're gonna wrap it up. A couple more. Go ahead.
Wait, I'm going to move on from this one but it's just so silly. But anyway, could you go to the next tenet that you want children to be taught other than
you think that's silly.
social? The fact that you think race is a social construct, but then yet you're acknowledging the biological reality of race. But then when I try to press you
not
on
of
it,
race, that's what you're misunderstanding. We're talking when I like the problem is that like the lines where race was drawn, these are not like rooted in some like biological science or anything, right? Like people have genetic diversity.
I understand somewhat of what you're saying. It's kind of like when you take the 23andMe test. It's like okay, you're 50% Irish, 50% Ashkenazi Jew.
It doesn't tell you your race though, right? It doesn't, like 23andMe doesn't have a race category.
But it's arbitrarily choosing a point in line to look at where your ancestry came from, like an arbitrary point in historical time.
No, but isn't that?
I understand that, and so you could do. So that's what we're doing when we're making like race categorizations. However, technically, all we're doing is we're making like scientific categorizations based off like a understood pre-concept of like time and history. So we've
it's like not even just that, but regional adaptation that the human body has made to specific areas on Earth.
That's not a social construct. That's a scientific categorization of like a biological and evolutionary process.
So no geneticist is going to tell you that race is a biological construct unless they're like a JF kind of guy, like they're like super like race realist, like Nick Fuentes will tell you that. But
I don't think that's true. I know geneticists who or biologists who will say that race is a biological thing, but it's based on categorizing things. It's even when people say like gender isn't biological, but then you go down the line of all of these things that come from biology, and they say, well, yeah, but that's like malleable. And it's like, okay, it's malleable, it comes from biology, and so it's going to be the same in this case.
So to bring it forward, because this is great. This helps me unify what I'm getting at. So like the point is that obviously people have different skin color, people have different genetics, people have different biology, whatever. That's not the point. The point is that then on top of that, we see different people and we categorize them in a certain race based off of perception. And historically, that category that we decide based on just seeing somebody and seeing like what they look like to us, that was then used to decide what they had access to in society, what rights they had, whether or not they had rights at all.
So you're not just talking about the categorization; you're talking about the caste.
But that's not even true either.
Like Mexican,
he's saying it's not even true because Irish people were also enslaved. So people were saying, if you have light hair, then you're not. You're saying it was based off.
Like Hispanic people are like a mix of a shit ton of like races like biologically, but we consider them like a race for some reason. But it's not like this. It's not like Irish people are not so different from like people near them and shit. It's not like race.
All right, can I ask real quick before you respond? Just real quick, I want you to respond to that. Is it okay if once you respond, you go through the entire list and then we allow you guys to pick which ones you want to talk about from there instead of doing one at a time? Because I think there's 16 tenants, right?
I mean, it depends on where you're looking at. I mean, is how you want to go through like all the individual tenets? I can talk about.
I think that's what they were asking is what tenets do you want taught in a class? And so I think it's best if you go through all of them and then allow them to pick.
I'll go through like what I would like to manifest in the classroom, sure. But first, I'll address the Irish question, right? So when we talk about like if somebody was Irish but nobody knew they were Irish, they couldn't tell they were Irish by any means. That person would not then have the imposition of Irish slavery assigned to them in like the U.S. when Irish people were enslaved, right? they wouldn't have that. They wouldn't then be like captured and brought back to their slave owners, just like a black person would have been, because they were visually cued to be black, therefore part of the black race, and then therefore being
No,
not
because they
worthy of
even
having
had,
rights.
like, essentially, that's not even true either, because they essentially had like the one drop rule, which came from the KKK. So even if you appeared to be white, if you were a certain percentage black, and they traced that to your ancestry, not based off what you looked like, then you were still
You say a
treated.
certain percentage black. You mean having an ancestor who would have been categorized as black, then you were also considered black. Absolutely, you're being racialized there. You're being assigned blackness, right? Because blackness was being viewed as tainting the whiteness, right? So therefore, they weren't worthy of rights because they weren't white enough. Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah,
it's just,
absolutely.
it's just that,
Great
it's just,
example.
it's just that race is not actually the real difference is haplogroups. The real difference is haplogroups. It's not race.
It's not about the real difference. It's about the legal
It had
concept
nothing
of
to
it.
do with skin color, because if you found out they were Irish, then the exact same result. It had to do with your actual race. It had nothing. You were saying that black people
Wait, no,
you
it's not-
blackness
I'm sorry.
leads to whiteness. It had nothing to do with the color of the skin. It had to do with
Absolutely.
your genetics. And
Oh,
you're
because
saying that, like,
well, hang on. You can say it had to do with your genetics only insofar, Lauren, only insofar as somebody might then make a determination about what rights you had access to based on their perception of those genetics, right?
I think
race was invented before we knew about genetics.
Race is like
I-
a relatively new concept, but yes.
Yeah, I think the difference is that currently the way that we categorize race is going to be what aligns with the skin color. So things like higher testosterone levels, and it's like regional adaptation, right? So like
that a few times. It's actually not as like set in stone as I've heard.
it's not as set in stone because Africa has the widest range of genetic variety than any other continent on Earth. So obviously they have literally the tallest people on Earth, the shortest people on Earth, the fastest people on Earth, the slowest people on Earth, the skinniest people on Earth, the fattest people on Earth. Like they have everybody, the smartest, the dumbest. Like they have the widest variety of genetics over there. So it's not as simple. It's like yes, you're black, so you have all of these lines of genetics, but we do have what is more common. Having some chromosomes means you're more likely to be able to have babies, but it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be able to have babies. It's just a thing that aligns more commonly. So we categorize that thing as sex. In this case, we categorize it as race based on these biological factors that are going to be more likely.
Biological markers we use to decide what someone's race might be. Sure.
do you think that like Dalmatians are biologically different from like terriers?
I think that the dog breed example is frankly it's kind of a racist analogy that a lot of people use. I'm not saying you're intentionally doing that, like using it to be racist.
Hold on.
But hang on, no, let me clarify why.
Hold
Talking
on.
about massively different scales of evolution. How many
Why
dogs breeds?
is it racist to try to compare? I am literally just taking the human race and the dogs and like trying to make an analogy based off another animal type, and you want to say that that's a racist example?
I did this before with him as well. He doesn't like it.
He's right.
I am right.
How is it racist?
Okay, because first of all, you're talking about massively different evolutionary scales, Lauren. Like how many generations of dogs can one person go through in their life? A lot, right?
Even if the analogy is not good in your opinion,
How many years old can a dog be before they give birth? What, like 2? Before they have babies?
even if in your opinion the analogy is
One?
even if it's a bad analogy in your opinion, I'm asking you, how is it racist? Because you said the first thing you said when I brought it up was that
racist.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm saying, and which I also clarified. I don't think you're intentionally using it that way. I don't believe that you are. I think you're just not aware of the way this is used.
okay, even if racists have used this in the past, this example is not racist. And so
They use it
because
currently.
something, yeah, just because
It's not intentionally racist.
I have a sweater and the sweater is white and the sweater has a white hood. Just because other people prior to me using white hood doesn't mean that my white hood is racist.
I'll
Okay?
say it's actually, I'll actually make a little bit stronger statement here. I'll say it's racist on its face to compare the difference between a Chihuahua and like a German Shepherd to a black person and a white person. I think that's racist on its face. Yeah.
Why?
Because they're so different. Like the difference between a white person and a black person is not comparable to the difference between a chihuahua and a pit
The
bull.
differences are massively
Even
different.
if
It's
you
hugely
think it's
different
a
scales.
bad analogy, even if you think it's a bad analogy biologically, how is it a racist?
Because you're
analogy?
saying that white people and black people are super different when they're not that different.
Yeah, you're saying the differences intuitively to you might feel like they're the same as or describable in the same terms at least.
First of all, I don't actually know if biologically is that true that there is like such a distinct difference between Dalmatians and Chihuahuas or Dalmatians and Terriers or whatever.
Well, they're
Like,
bred for different things.
Is there such a distinct difference between human races and dog? I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
there's not.
Genetic. So then,
It's
how
a-
is it?
look at them.
How is it racist? Tell me how it's racist.
Because the amount of difference is way bigger between dog breeds than it is
No,
between
he
human
just
races.
said that's not true. He just
No, I
said
didn't.
that's
No, I
not
said
true.
the opposite. I said the differences are massive. I'm saying that the thing that's racist about it is that you're suggesting the differences are as extreme as they are between a Chihuahua and like a German Shepherd.
We don't
Yeah,
actually
absolutely.
think you're racist.
I don't. I mean, I don't
Wait,
think you're
well,
right.
hold on.
I'm
Wait,
intentional.
hold on. Whether or not they're extreme is going to be based on whether or not they can mate with one another, whether or not their genetics can mix and come off with
Dogs-
offspring.
dogs
So
can
in this case, dogs can continue to do that. It's not that
That's
extreme of a
what you're
difference.
describing as a line of where we draw species.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So in
Okay,
this
so
case,
maybe
it's
I'm
not
not
that.
arguing that dogs aren't the same. That like
Yeah.
Chihuahuas and German Shepherds are not the same species. I'm saying that comparing the difference between them to a black person and a white person, you're basically saying like because black people and white people, the biggest difference is pigmentation. It's the amount of melanin in the skin. That's it. That's like the biggest
There's
thing.
many differences. That's the biggest
mine are
noticeable
Tell me more
Bone
about this difference,
density.
height, general height.
Decline.
They're
Lauren.
like
Heights a little bit different. Okay.
average height. The
Have you ever met
Hair.
a Chihuahua that was the size of a German
I
Shepherd?
mean, part what?
Have you ever met a Chihuahua? Have you ever seen a Chihuahua?
I mean,
that
all
was
of
the
them
size
think
of a
they're.
German? They're never going to grow to that
difference-
size. They don't have the genetics to be that size. But black people can be just as tall as
There's
white
a
people.
very distinct difference because dogs are purposely so. Like for instance, to get a Chihuahua, you had a bunch of like when we first started breeding dogs, we got a bunch of random dogs and purposely went for certain characteristics. So for Chihuahuas, we specifically chose a bunch of small dogs and breeding them. Then we started interbreeding them in order to get this specific thing.
Correct.
It's the closest analogy we have to any other species. It's not a perfect analogy, but it's
Closest? You don't think there's any other species that have like subcategories?
Yeah,
that are,
a
like,
closer
more
analogy would be
closely
like garter snakes. Garter snakes in the like northeast are like they look like they have like slightly different stripes than the garter snakes in the south and garter snakes in the west.
Right.
They
I
look
am
different.
a racist for not knowing about the fucking garter snakes. You're
Well,
correct.
all animals are like this. Squirrels are like that in different regions.
I never said you're a racist. Just be clear
Squirrels
right
look
now,
different in different regions. Like a lot of
Correct.
different birds.
I just want to say I never said that Lauren is a racist. I never said those words. Just to be clear.
All right. Let's move on past this. I'm just like annoyed. Like I hate. Like I was literally bringing up a good faith topic, and I can see kind of now, Coder, that maybe you were bringing it up in good faith that you thought it was potentially racist. But I brought that up in good faith, not trying to be racist, and I feel like to point out I feel like that was just not like productive to the conversation. And
It's not productive. It's not productive for his conversation with you. Wait, it's not productive for his
So,
conversation.
hold on,
It's productive to the-
hold on, wait, hold on. Okay, he's saying he's already talking about CRT in the first place. So we're talking about the way that historically race has been constructed for society. So when you're using something that historically has been racist, is going to play into his point about CRT in teaching these things in the way that he's talking about.
all right.
Yeah, I would say
He's
students who learn
CRTing you.
about, like,
He's
this-
CRTing you right now.
I would say the students who
You just got
who are exposed
CRT'd.
to- a little bit. Students who are exposed to this kind of information, who like have been given the opportunity to have difficult conversations about what race is and isn't earlier on, they're going to be less likely to be as frustrated and to not understand that, like, why that would be such a racist thing.
No, I'm frustrated by you calling my good faith example racist. That's what I'm frustrated.
Another part of it is that racism doesn't have to be like a KKK hood. Like, you don't have to be like an evil person. You can also just
we're
have
all
like a wrong belief that contributes to a broader ecosystem of racism. And
You're all
it doesn't make
racist.
you a bad person. I don't think you're a bad person. I actually like you, Lauren. So
Oh no, my topic is why is Lauren so racist?
peace.
Don't say it's my weak spot. You're nice.
Could I not ask you,
I'm
Coder,
not
so-
racist. I have a friend that's black.
Wait. Can I just bring up
Well,
something I don't
you're
like about
right,
CRT?
little.
Because I've been defending it, and I just can't wait to fucking fight against it because I hate being on side CRT. I hate it.
CRT
Is it
is
okay?
terrible.
Are you okay with?
I'm sorry.
No,
I thought you were about to say
is it okay? Can I just give an example of something I think that is bad about CRT?
Yeah, just
Okay, so I like CRT. The thing that I think of when I hear it, I don't think about just like stuff that is just context for history lessons and stuff like that. I think about interjecting race into things that I think like racialization doesn't make sense. Like math, like to bring up the fact that math is invented by white people and that it's basically racist. Like that kind of, I guess that's probably true. But I've heard this argument from CRT people, and that we should like.
people are saying that math is invented by white people.
Yeah, I've heard
Yes.
that like a bunch of
I
I
times.
feel like they might argue that like the
Not-
assumption that
And
white
they
people
got
invented
to
math
advance
is
Yes,
math
the
in a lot
problem,
of
yeah.
liberal cities. They stopped teaching advanced math in a lot of liberal cities because that was considered like a white concept.
I don't think that's exactly what happened, but I think what does happen is that a lot of black students don't succeed in math. It's actually massively disproportionate, right?
It's the way
like-
we teach math.
Race doesn't
Well, it's
exist.
not even
So
just that's what they
say
call it,
that
right?
race is a social construct.
It's
so
it's
how
a couple of
can
things. It's
Fantastic,
the
Lauren.
way
I'll
that we
raise
teach
the
math,
next part
one,
of CRT, I guess.
and then two, it's the idea that there are specific sects of math that were taken from black people and other ethnicities that were then used within colonial nations where they developed on top of them. And so there's a number of like arguments for the racism within math that that isn't just white people invented math.
Well, the
I think
thing that I heard was like,
I think the conversation about race and math is primarily about the achievement gap, right? That like black students are, you can actually predict
but
if you know
the
students'
reason-
race in their class, what level of math they're likely to attain, and that's a bad thing, right? Like it's not because they're biology, obviously, because we know that black people can do math just as well as white people, right? We know.
So
that's
what
a
is
fact.
it for?
So what,
Okay, no,
wait,
so-
What's
wait,
what's causing that?
maybe
It's the way math is taught.
okay,
It
I
could
can
be-
explain
it's
this.
gonna
Okay,
be
so the
foundational.
argument is like, so there are like IQ tests that you can take that historically have like been bad for like black people's scores, but mostly because of the cultural like so they gave like black people in Africa like an IQ test, but they didn't have the context of some of the information, so they actually couldn't even answer the questions like regardless, they didn't even answer to their
more of
intelligence.
an
So people are saying
information
that the
gap.
way that math is structured like is outside of the lexicon of black people somehow, and
That's
like
not-
they're unable
no,
to
that's
learn
not,
it.
That's not what critical race theorists are saying. Critical race theorists would never assert that like a certain race of people has a lexicon, right? Like that you necessarily have. What?
I've heard that argument.
Well, they don't believe in race, so like I would say that the
Exactly.
real thing would be the ethnicity or like the culture, and so
No,
like
see, critical race theorists aren't saying race isn't real, so we need to categorize people based off their ethnicity and then figure out what we need more like better racial categories. That's not the point. The point is to acknowledge how the legacy of racialization still impacts people today.
but the
in fields of
legacy-
education, criminal justice, and wealth disparity.
yeah,
And
but the
health
legacy of racism is that black people have like a different culture, and like the fact that like ebonics is even a thing,
No,
it should
it's
be like
primarily
shameful.
economic
It should be shameful that just ebonics is even a thing. The fact that black people like have a different
What's wrong
dialect.
with AAVE?
The fact that we
Oh, I see
because
what
of
you're saying.
because of racism, the fact that they were like segregated and shit, and they developed a different dialect that sounds different from the other people in the same fucking country that live next door to them. That should be something we're ashamed of. Not a lot of countries have that. Like
I
that's
would say
unique.
that we should be ashamed of the reason that is the way it is, but we don't have to be ashamed of the fact that it did manifest, because like that, like a lot of
I am ashamed of it.
like contributions.
I am ashamed of it, and that's why I'm against
That's
critical race theory. Like I think that
well,
we are.
that's the only reason I think to be. Like I said,
I
I
mean,
hear you.
my issue with critical race theory, like it's just incorrect. Like it's not correct. Because not the first thing that you said when supporting critical race theory was observing historical lens through like history through the lens of race and how minorities were subjugated based off their skin color, and like the Irish example just never goes away, or even the Jewish example.
I did. You said that at one point. Yeah, so I did say at one point. Well, actually, Lauren, the Jewish one's also a great example. That's actually because what the Nazis did in Germany was an extension of a far extension of the racialization of Black people in America. Like they racialized Jews to a point where they thought Jews were this different kind of human, like a Chihuahua compared to a German Shepherd that had such they were so drastically different, right? And not only were they so drastically different, they were unfixably different. And then no matter what we did, as long as they existed, they would drag down the society. Like that was the German narrative around Jews. That was the racialization. It doesn't have to do with skin color necessarily. It's about the racialization. But Black people particularly.
First thing you said had to do with
Okay. When I'm talking about specifically, like the way Black people are categorized, it's primarily compared to skin color, right? That's the metric. But if you like Jewishness is going to be, people can be religiously Jewish, people can be married into being Jewish, people can be they don't necessarily, like you might have a Jewish ancestor and someone might find that out.
A way to
Ethnicity
figure it
versus
out.
religion.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things.
Ethnicity versus religion. Those are different things.
Yeah, but they're both Jewish. Quote unquote.
ethnic Jew.
They're both called Jewish, but there's different
I love you anyway.
aspects of Judaism or
So-
Jewishness.
Okay. Another aspect I don't like is I think, especially having spoken to other Black women on this matter, especially Black women with children, it encourages Black people to like all minorities really to feel like victims and to feel like it's like there's a system in which they're in that's designed to oppress them, and they're taught that they should be like aware that the entire system is designed to hurt minorities. And
Can I ask one? Let's start with this right
teach
there.
kids
What
to
if
teach kids this not is detrimental to them, and also harms racial relations and doesn't help resolve any of the racial issues that are currently in our country.
So to the first point, I want to ask one question. Do you think what if it was the case? I know we disagree about the nature of these systems. Like if you did accept that it was the case that those systems were designed in a way that it disproportionately hurt these people, do you think that those students should be aware of that or not? Should we lie to them if that were the case?
It's not that we should lie to them, but like, so first of all, the systems aren't. So like if there was like a Jim Crow system where Black people were required to drink from different water fountains and get onto a different part of the train, and they would be required to be taught this in order to survive so that they don't go on the wrong side of the train or like drink from the wrong
But they
water.
shouldn't necessarily be taught that like they weren't allowed to go to school with white people like a couple generations ago, like when
So
their parents might have
history,
been
should
alive.
they be taught history? Yeah, they should be taught history.
And like the metrics
Should
by
they
which
be
that was
taught that
decided.
modern day America has a system of racism that's been embedded in it since slavery and further through the 13th Amendment and then onward through Jim Crow and then onward through modern day era, should we be teaching minorities students that they're considered lesser in the eyes of most Americans and in the system?
That's not
Absolutely not, especially because they're legally not treated any worse than any other. No race is treated any better or worse than any other race, which is why
That's
white
not
people are not the wealthiest, really. Then, like, you could look at Chinese immigrants or Indian immigrants, people who are not given like the easiest welcoming to America.
Why do you think it is then? Why do you think it is that
prosperous minorities in the even more prosperous than the average
That's good.
person?
So why do you think it is then that like Black people have like such worse education attainment, are so much more higher represented in crime statistics? Why their economic attainment is extremely low? Why their healthcare outcomes are worse? All these things. Like what do you think is causing that? Do you think it has nothing to do with the fact that 70 years ago they weren't allowed to go to school with white people and it would force Black families like into particular areas? You think it has nothing to do with that? I think that's an interesting perspective. Okay.
Yeah,
I just think. Oh, I'm
wait,
sorry. Go ahead, Lauren.
hold on. Yeah, Lauren, what do you think it has to do with?
I think it has to do with the teaching of victimhood, the welfare system, and the unfortunately the negative culture that is promoted in media specifically for the Black Americans, such
Passing the
as
welfare system? Sorry.
such as BET, like the Black Entertainment, like it's like if you look at the media that's targeted for Black people, like the rap and the content and the separation of parents and the lack of
Glorification
fathers.
of violence.
We talk about the welfare system one. Let's start there.
Lack
I think
of
it's a great one.
fathers in
It's
the
a curious one.
home is the main issue, and that's caused by the
And
woke.
that's in that
Hold
intersects
on,
welfare, right?
hold
Please,
Hold-
please let me get this
Okay,
one.
fine, but we're gonna go to Ginger
Okay.
next. So
Okay, I think that's fair. I want to know, you would say currently that our welfare system is designed in such a way that it produces worse outcomes for African Americans than white people?
Oh.
I think the welfare system hurts basically anybody who relies on it, and there's a
I think
large
it hurts Black people more than white people.
Hold on, my dog's
Right
trying to
now,
complaining about
Sure.
it. Does it hurt Black people? more
over here, I
would
don't
say
think
it
so.
than Black people more than
I
white
think
people.
it
yeah.
hurts.
Okay, so what you're
Everyone.
saying is that you think that the welfare system is systemically racist against Black people. You believe in systemic racism. You just don't believe about how it
I don't
manifests.
think it's systemically
don't.
racist. I think
you just
that
said
currently
systemic.
more Black people are engaging in the system, and therefore it's currently hurting more. However, if more white people started engaging in the system, then they would start hurting white people more. So
Why are Black people
really,
more than welfare?
negative system. Why? Well, there's you could say that
reasons, yeah.
back to history. Like, so there were points in history in which Black people were not treated equitably, but currently, modern day, there's nothing on the books, there's nothing on the laws that are harming Black people. And if you want to say that they're still in this cycle as of today, then you can
Wait,
look at
Lauren,
any
hold
other
on.
minority
You
who
got it.
has been oppressed in America, and you could ask why none of them are in the exact same cycle.
Okay, so you said there's nothing on the books that are harming Black people. I think what you mean is that there's nothing that discriminates against Black people, right?
Yeah. Like, there's
Okay.
nothing that
Because
that
obviously you think these things harm Black people. You think welfare. You think, the low
There's
expectations, like
they're
all of
like-
these things.
there's nothing on the books that are like specifically a statute saying like Black people must sit in the back of the bus, or like here's the section redlining, here's the section that the Black people must live in, here's the section that for the Jews, here's the section for the whites. There's none of that. There's
Sure.
no
So the
racial
question,
distinction.
the
in
question
law.
is that, like, if this is cultural, they're just born into this culture. They don't have a decision. They're born into a culture already that already has a lot of these things set up ahead of time. Are they influenced into this by a system, or are they just stupid and they can't think for themselves and they just keep doing stupid things that are hurting themselves?
I don't think an entire
Like, white
group-
people are smarter, so they're not doing those things. Black people are dumb, so they are doing those.
It's not about being smart or stupid, but if you're brought up in a culture that is not encouraging you to do better in life, then you're not going to do better in life. And the culture that a lot of African Americans currently find themselves in is not encouraging them. So, for instance, when I talk to a lot of my African American friends, they get, like, if they speak properly, they get, why are you speaking white? They get made fun of for that, or if they go off to college. And there's a lot of things that they get made fun of for trying to act white or be. And I think that that's a negative culture.
Happens, yeah.
So if your culture is encouraging you to go down the wrong path in life, then that's a cultural issue. It's not about.
But those are systemic problems, right? So that means like they have those issues because a lot of them are arrested at higher rates and are already in jail before any of these kids are ever born. They already have a culture that praises crime, that that can like glorify gang violence and all of these things. Those people die off, but there's tons of generations coming behind them that are taught these things over and over as well. And so they're just born in the cultures where they're taught specific things from an early age. I didn't mean to totally skip over Ginger like that. So Lauren, go.
No,
and
you're
then
fine.
Ginger.
But each race, like each group of people that collectively define a race, get to choose their own culture. Like, even though it's
Not
kind
as
of
individuals, though.
not as right, not exactly, not as
So as a
individuals.
race, they're responsible for cultivating a better culture.
Culture is a system. Culture is a
Yes,
system.
exactly. Each individual race is responsible.
Get it
for
together,
their
Black people. Am I right, guys? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
seriously.
Shit's
My
fucked.
goodness.
Wow.
Freaking dumb Black people.
Like what?
Okay, no, hold on. Wait, we're going to ginger.
Ginger,
No,
ginger.
we're going to ginger.
I'm sorry, what?
You were trying to get in earlier, and
Oh,
we kept
well,
skipping. your turn.
way earlier.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
kind of moved on from it, but I I feel like we're even teaching history wrong. And the problem with it is not necessarily
Stick with me, Smith heads. I know this is boring.
That Black History Month only has 1 month. It should be longer. It's the like finality in which they speak of slavery. Like after the Declaration of Independence was signed, slavery was ended, and everybody went home happy. Like they don't really explain to you in school, especially when they bring race up for the first time for our internment camp situations. And
the Germans have like
wild.
so much. They have so much education. First of all, it's illegal to deny the Holocaust in Germany. They do extensive Holocaust.
No. I'm not talking about in the schools. I'm saying like in general, like there are people who just refuse to discuss it.
Because you could get locked up for giving your opinion on the matter in Germany because they don't have a First Amendment.
We're gonna have some fucking good content. I promise.
So yeah, I would be scared to discuss it. Even as a Jew whose grandma survived the Holocaust, I wouldn't want to slip up and say the wrong thing.
No,
and
that's
say,
true.
Oh,
yeah, that's
Nick
true.
Fuentes have the right to free speech, and then be hauled off in handcuffs. So like,
I wonder.
yeah.
I'm not sure how often place it is that's enforced.
Absolutely teaches slavery and has been teaching slavery, and critical race theory is only muddying the waters and making it seem like a.
Doesn't feel like you demonstrated that.
Quiet, Smith.
Sorry, Smith was moaning. Can you repeat the last sentence?
It's boring. She just doesn't think systemic racism exists. We get it. Okay, move on. I'm so sick of this. It's so fucking boring.
That's literally his freaking topic, bro. It's CRT.
No. Like she doesn't think it exists. She doesn't think that systemic racism. I have actual
Everybody
criticisms of
argued
critical
for
race
30
theory.
minutes over the semantics of gaslighting. Okay, you cannot complain right now.
This look, I have actual criticism of critical race theory that's actually interesting. She just doesn't think systemic racism exists. We've heard it a million fucking times. I've heard it a million fucking times.
Shut the fuck up and give your point. Jesus Christ, Lord.
So what the places where we're injecting race into conversations doesn't make sense. So like into like the structure of of sitting in a classroom. Sure, like sitting in a classroom, like that is already not ideal. But like to say that like, oh, that makes it worse for black people than white people, like that kind of thing. Like it does that kind of conversation, like it takes away from our ability to actually see each other as a unified whole, and it further divides us to constantly and analyze things on how they're interact. We should rather be working to lift each other up rather than focus on how we are pushing each other apart.
Sure. So when it comes to the classroom thing, my understanding is that black kids, even if the behaviors exhibited are comparable, that black kids are still more likely to be punished in the classroom. So I think that is, that's another example of how these things like manifest, right?
That's such.
That has to do with the teachers.
Do you think
though.
there can be?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just the fucking prick teacher. Then what do you
Sounds
mean?
like bias, racial bias, yeah, for sure.
But like
Yeah.
that doesn't have to do. Okay, that doesn't have to do with
classroom itself.
Yeah, like it's not the schooling that fucking makes the teacher like that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
If somebody were to say that like
fucking
sitting in a
stupidity.
classroom, yeah, if somebody were to say that like because of the nature of black people or whatever, that like being in a classroom is worse for them just because of how they are or whatever, I would think that person's racist. That sounds like a racist thing to say.
I worked in a daycare
Yeah,
where
but
there
you
were
want
black
to
kids.
overturn the curriculum, right?
No.
We're talking
But
about
we
whether
should-
or not we want to change the curriculum and what is taught in these things
I want to add
versus
to it. I think a lot of things are
even
already
with.
taught.
Well,
I'm gonna
even
fix
what Ginger was just saying. She was just bringing up some areas where like we teach things that are untrue. So it's not just adding things. There's also some things that we would want to take out. And so when you're talking about changing the curriculum, we're not talking about like, making it to where teachers aren't racist or say stupid things. We already try to do that. We already try to get rid of this
Right.
crap. More like they're making arguments more about the curriculum, changing that and what you put into this. That's actually going to make a wide systemic change for everybody.
I worked in a daycare and there were black kids. There was a couple black kids in the daycare. There wasn't a lot. And the couple black kids were worse behaved. And I was like, we are talking to their parents more, and this is like weird. But does that mean we should put up with like, because it like this is like systemic or something? Should we like treat the black kids differently? No, I think we should hold people to the same. Rather than like doing something like that, we should lift people up. We should lift up the whole community. That is the attitude that the critical race
Smith,
theory
you're
would
going
bring to
back
that.
against to what we were just saying though. Is like he's not saying like change the way that you interact on an individual level. He's saying make systemic changes to where you're like having like wide ranging changes for everybody.
Right, but
that doesn't mean that like the individuals are going to be treated different.
No, the
For sure. And
individual. What I'm saying is that the
real
solution could be affirmative action on a level like that. Like an
But,
affirmative
like,
action.
before any of that, I'm not even talking for the
Like,
record.
doesn't
I haven't.
critical race theory.
Hold on,
fucking
hold on,
teach us that
hold
we're
on,
all
hold on.
inherently
Let Coder-
racist? Like, what
let
the
Coder-
fuck is that?
I haven't said
Yeah, let
anything
Coder go,
about
and then we'll go to Speakeasy.
I haven't said a single thing about implementing any policies, about any solutions. I'm having a conversation that these things. I'm just saying that these things exist, and that these are the way things are taught. And something like Ginger brought up great examples of the way that things are taught without deeper context, like they're taught at a very surface level, and that gives people the wrong impression about what happened. I mean, that's where we've been. So before we we weren't even talking about like policy solutions, right? But I think this is a great, another, like one of my bullet points here was like about how CRT encourages students to question why certain racial disparities exist. And we get to sit here and have this conversation about it because we're talking about CRT and we're maybe enlightening some people about some of these things in some ways they haven't thought of before.
The point of school is math, history, science,
We're talking about
English.
history.
The point of
We're talking about
school
history.
is not we are barely talking about history. We are talking about racial disparity, and we are talking about which race has it hardest, and we are trying to. It's like causing issues between races that aren't there and trying to create issues. It's the whole reason we have this whole ACAB nonsense in the first place, and this whole BLM movement in the first place is because of bullshit critical race theory nonsense. And it's destructive for society. It's not beneficial. If you want races to get along better, you wouldn't keep I love how you're like, race is a social construct. And the way that we fix it is dividing people by race with affirmative action. Like, it's just
So
what?
I didn't even say my position on affirmative action. Again,
Can I
Real
ask
quick,
you
hold on.
something?
Wait, hold on. We're gonna go to Speakeasy. but we are going to close this up in just a little bit. We got maybe like 5 more minutes left on this. So Speakeasy, go ahead.
I just
Okay,
want to heads up. I totally spaced what my topic was.
Sorry.
We were gonna go to you next.
Just
So
a
I
heads
guess
up.
I
you,
just want
did
to.
you really like forget it, or like you
Yes,
just totally,
absolutely. And my
Okay.
dumbass did not write it down.
Okay. Speakeasy. Try to remember. Send me a DM if you
I
remember.
will. I've
Speakeasy,
been
go ahead.
trying.
Okay, so what? Okay, for the thing with this, I think this fucking topic is stupid to begin with. To be honest with you, I'm just being my opinion. But like, okay, the thing with like critical race theory, right? With this, like, teaching people that right now how society is like primarily designed for white people. Like, you can't, if you're gonna say that schooling system, okay, that's what you used. The one thing, like, oh, black kids get in more trouble or some shit like this. If you're saying that that black people can't do the schooling system we have, but white people can, you're the one that's saying black people are fucking different than white people.
So,
Right?
well, no. Well, first of all, the thing I said about the discipline was even if the kids are both being well behaved, right, or not well behaved, but exhibiting the same behaviors, like comparable behaviors. But I mean, if the outcomes, I'm talking about looking at the outcomes. I'm talking about looking at the outcomes. Like, if you look at the outcomes, you see that black kids do worse in school. And I'm saying,
Would that be maybe because they're more fatherless homes amongst the black community?
I don't think that. I don't.
You don't think has anything
That's probably
to do
part
with
of
it?
it. Probably.
I'm sure it contributes. I'm sure. Why? But then the question becomes, why are there less fathers, or like where
Exactly.
are they?
Exactly.
But
But the solution to that
Whoa,
isn't
whoa,
in the
whoa,
school.
whoa.
But the solution of that isn't in the school. The solution that is in the homes and shit. We should help their communities and shit like that. That's what I think. So that's why I think critical race theory in the school is focusing on changing the outcomes of things by focusing on making changes in the classroom. When a lot of these things are actually the problems are not in the classroom. They're bigger.
What about how a lot of these schools that are predominantly black also have like older textbooks, less resources, less access to things like iPads, stuff like this. They have less access to all these things, which also contributes.
I'm on board.
And there's also good systemic.
Wait, hang
on.
Female theory, how school is all designed for women, and that's why fucking men are failing. Let me get to, because
something Speakeasy, something you said about it being primarily designed. I'm not talking about being primarily designed for white people, whatever. What critical race theorists will say, and I think it's the Encyclopedia Britannica says this almost explicitly, is that the United States system is racist insofar as it perpetuates racist outcomes, right? As it perpetuates these things. So one way it would be perpetuating those things is by these resources not getting to the students who need them the most, because they've been most disproportionately impacted by the history of racism in this country.
Okay,
so it's not like inherently racist. He's just talking about the effects that things have or the outcomes.
After my debate with Destiny, a lot of people were like, "You think black kids are stupid because blah blah blah. They can't do math or whatever." I don't think black kids are stupid. I think that black kids can do math. Like, my whole point was that I think that we need to make sure that these kids get the opportunity to explore these subjects in a way that is.
Just to be clear, in that debate, you were like broadly defending CRT and came to realize that there are a lot of things within CRT that you don't want to defend, which is why I gave you the opportunity at the beginning to try to like condemn some things
that book wasn't even really CRT. It was CRT adjacent. But
what was it that you don't like? Can you give an example that you didn't of something that you didn't like? That
the CRT adjacent thing.
The specific example was that white or black kids need to learn differently from white kids. That we need to teach them in a completely different way, like make up rap songs to teach them math.
But this book also didn't say that. That was what's funny is a lot of people came away from that debate quoting the things that Destiny said as examples of ways that these like things might manifest, but they weren't actually things that were in the book, right?
Can you give me an example then?
Yeah, please.
Wait,
like,
an example of what specifically?
Like, how would you like what if you don't think, because like when you said that black kids are getting in more trouble and doing less, not as good in school. And I said, well, fatherless homes amongst black families could be one of the reasons.
Maybe.
You said, well, I don't think it's that big of a, like, what do you think is the big reason? Like, what in the fucking school is stopping the black kids from being able to learn?
It's a good question. That's very interesting. I don't have a solid answer. Yeah.
Okay, and also
teaching the critical race theory fix.
I mean,
and also,
hang on.
How do you hold on? Okay, go ahead.
It's because I don't have this. Because again, I'm not even here talking about solutions. I'm talking about that the problem exists in the first place and the reasons for the problem. If we can't even agree on that, how are we ever going to talk about solutions?
Okay,
No,
so
I
I
get
agree
it,
with the
but,
reasons
like,
for
I
the
don't
problems and
think-
stuff, but the thing that bothers me about CRT is that a lot of crackpots piggyback off of it, and if we don't, so we need to be able to distinguish between people that use CRT to smuggle in
Christopher
just,
Rufo, James Lindsay, these are
Yes,
crackpots who profit
yeah.
off of CRT. Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
those people too, but those people, the James Lindsay is
Chris Rufo is the
profiting.
reason we're talking about this.
James Lindsay is profiting off of the fact that there are like insane people like writing shit about CRT, like and if like so
No,
I think
he's
if we are able,
misrepresenting. He's gaslighting people into believing that people are saying things they're not saying.
okay, if that's true,
You were going over
then
specific tenets on
I could figure
stream.
that out.
No, we didn't.
But what I'm saying is I believe that there.
Example of how we are teaching
I did
black
not go over the tenets of CRT at all. We didn't
How
touch
are
on the
you
tenets of CRT.
I'm not
Teach
talking about
black-
Destiny.
Hold on,
I
Lauren.
know.
Hold on. Okay, specifically,
I
you guys
brought
went
my
over specific
specific
tenets
example.
that
No,
talked
no.
about
I'm not
that
talking
that
about
talked
Destiny.
about black kids learning differently.
No, we absolutely did not. That's not what the book talked about.
I wasn't a book. It was he was going over tenets on a freaking website about CRT.
No, it's an ebook. Yeah, no, that's not. My conversation with Destiny was about a specific book called Equitable Instruction in Math Classrooms or whatever. It was focused on trying to improve outcomes for Black, Latino, and English second language students from grades 6 to 8, but it could also apply in a lot of contexts. That was what we looked over. It had nothing to do with the tenets of critical race theory.
Okay, all right, Lauren.
Wait, but no,
I
wait,
want
no.
this-
Wait,
Lauren's already
Lauren,
talked a shit
Lauren,
ton about this.
Hold on. She has. We're gonna.
You
she's asked
always.
the question
I hate your
numerous
moderation.
times,
You always make me shut up. You suck. You're the worst moderator
do
ever.
not.
I'm not.
You gotta grow- you
You're
gotta
good
grow
with
some
everybody
tits,
else,
man.
but not with me.
You gotta grow some tits
I
if you like
do
each
not.
other, bro.
You were-
Smith,
He asked
I
a
had to
question.
wait 30 minutes to
I gotta
talk.
take a piss. I'll be right
Well, you
back.
gotta assert yourself
you-
too.
I just
Ask your
want to know the
question.
specific examples of how we're going to teach black students differently than white students that doesn't involve a rap.
I don't think we should teach Black kids necessarily different from white kids. I don't think we should ever use race as the metric for like deciding
Did
what
you say
lessons someone
that
gets.
doesn't involve a rap?
That's what Destiny said, and he said that wasn't the example that they were going. Because
Oh,
Destiny
he's
said,
watching this right now.
"Oh my god, it's just wild." What?
Wait, is he like? Wait, what do you mean? He's like.
No,
is he
because that's
texting
what
this, or-
no. That's what you had said earlier. You had said that Destiny used this example of the rap, and then everybody else started using that example, but that wasn't the example. That's what you had said earlier. And
Not
so
just for
I'm
Black
looking-
kids. No. Yeah. The
Okay.
book doesn't say we should use any of these things specifically for Black kids. It talks about
Yes.
implementing these things in classrooms, and I think they would benefit Black kids and white kids.
Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, he's saying he doesn't agree with this specific example.
It says
No. The book doesn't say that Black kids need to be taught differently. The book talks about strategies that are largely absent, that are often taught in schools that have more resources, that have access to better training methods, right, or that have learned better training methods, and they don't do this necessarily in these schools, and that they should implement these things more, and that it could involve also be like including like potentially culturally relevant examples. It doesn't mean that every one of these examples is going to like naturally connect to a Black kid because their Blackness attracts them to rap music. Like that's fucking racist. That's not what anybody's saying.
All right, Smith.
Okay, so here's the thing. So you're telling me that this is all a lie constructed by people like James Lindsay, okay? But that's not what anybody's saying. I've read shit where people are saying dumb shit like that adjacent to that, and I feel like if that is the case, you're saying it's all a lie, but if that is the case, then we should at least have a way to distinguish that between the thing you're talking about, like people using CRT to come to like bullshit like conclusions or bullshit prescriptions and shit, like that should be distinguished from CRT. That if we're going to talk about that in schools, like. That would ease the minds of everybody. Like, so if you want to distinguish the James Lindsay shit, like we should work on making that distinction.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that James Lindsay is just like spreading a lie or whatever. I think James Lindsay is engaging in a massive, multi-year-long disinformation campaign about these topics. I think that he intentionally misrepresents all of these things in as the worst way possible to feed into people's pre-established beliefs about race and racism and how it impacts people today.
I'm
Okay, well,
interested in that.
you're kind of incorrect because of the
Okay.
books that they put on the shelves based off the curricula and based off there's been teachers that have made students line up based off the amount of privilege they have that is based essentially just making kids line up from like whitest to darkest, which is like super fucked up. And they've done all sorts of weird creepy shit in schools in the name of CRT, which is just
We
dividing
demonize the
people.
root of it. We demonize CRT because some people are cringe because most teachers in America are white women who don't have a really solid understanding of like how racism manifests and how the things they're doing might be microaggressions and might like make
You're
these
doing
kids
it.
uncomfortable.
You're doing
Sure.
it. They're making the distinction. This is what I need. I need this. I need to
Yeah.
hear more
If
of this.
you're
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
that the liberal idiots in charge of the school system are too dumb to understand their own dumb theories
I think
that
most
don't
people
sense.
don't have a good understanding of CRT.
Own
Yeah.
dumb
CRT
theories.
is like kind of
Shouldn't be fucking
illiberal.
teaching those theories in schools, and they should stick to which those dumb liberal teachers are also shitty at, but they should at least attempt to teach those kids math, science, English, history. That is it.
Cool.
Like,
I'm not saying we should have like a fifth period for CRT class.
All right.
Or whatever, so cool.
Coder, close
Closing
out this
statement.
topic. Speakeasy, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Okay, so you're gonna go next. So Coder, go ahead and close out your topic, please, sir.
Sure. So I'm just going to read through the rest of the bullet points I have here. They're should be pretty short. So CRT does analyze the legacy of slavery and segregation and how that persists in areas like education, criminal justice, and wealth disparities. It explores implications of Supreme Court decisions like Plessy v. Ferguson, Brown v. Board of Education, highlighting the role of the legal system in both perpetuating and dismantling racial segregation. CRT encourages students to question why certain racial disparities exist, leading to productive discussions about why these problems are here, and we can disagree about them, but at least we're having the fucking conversation. And if teachers want to lead this stuff, they can be trained to lead inclusive classroom discussions on sensitive topics where they can also respect diverse voices, right? Teachers. Yeah, CRT absolutely does not seek to assign blame or guilt to individuals, but aims to understand and address the systemic issues, which is what I've been talking about the entire fucking time here. CRT does not dismiss the importance of individual efforts, but focuses on the structural barriers that may impede progress in those individual endeavors. Students who learn about CRT, as I said to Lauren earlier, are better equipped to critically analyze and engage with current events related to race and inequality. And finally, a comprehensive understanding of CRT can lead to a more informed and responsible citizenry capable of advocating for social justice and equity, which I think are based and red pilled, which is about the truth. Red pill's about the truth, not the shit they're selling you in the red pill spaces. So based. Thank you. I'm Radical Coder.
Okay. All right. Real quick, also, I would just like to mention I was literally yelling at Lauren to shut up earlier and saying she's not Smith. Only in her wildest dreams she's Smith, so that I could get Smith to talk. All right. And Smith is in the group chat talking about the fact that he likes my moderation before this panel.
I do,
so
but sometimes I feel like sometimes I talk about something like gaslighting, and then your eyes roll back in your head, and then like there's something I don't know. I'd like your moderation in general.
She had a specific question that she had asked like 4 times that didn't get answered, and it kept going back to you. So I was just trying to get that one question answered so that we could move past it. But yeah. All right. Speakeasy, your topic, please, sir.
All righty. So I think that men should be able to financially abort when they get a woman pregnant.
Oh,
yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, they should. But if we do this,
I can't sit through this. I can't moderate this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to argue.
Get in.
This is
you want to get in.
Okay. All right. Okay. So go ahead and make your argument, and then I want to see a show of hands on who wants to argue against him once he's done. So go ahead and make your argument, please.
So the argument is that I'm just gonna use the same argument for that I would use for abortion on the woman's side. It's my body, my choice. I shouldn't have to work for 18 years to support something I don't want to.
Okay. Any hands? Anybody?
Wait, what's the hands for? To disagree?
Well, if you want to disagree, yes. If you have an argument against this, I can go first if nobody else does.
No, I really think that that should be a thing. It should be legal throughout every state. It should be federally legal that if a woman insists on having the baby, that the man does not feel like he either can financially support, wants to financially support, or have in general, he should be allowed the rights to sign away the baby and have no issue having to pay child support or any fucking thing like that.
Okay,
I
all
agree.
right.
I
So
have-
real
I have
quick,
one-
With a
I-
caveat.
I'll
Just
agree,
let
but
me-
with one caveat.
let me just lay this out real quick, okay? This is a category error, okay? The argument for this is not you should not have to have a baby if you don't want to have a baby, right? The argument is you should be allowed to have bodily autonomy. So there's no inconsistency on this. Men have bodily autonomy just as women have bodily autonomy. It's the same across the board. It's not, like you're not going to be a parent, so they shouldn't have to be a parent. That's never the argument made. The argument is you should be allowed to choose what you do with your body. There's no inconsistency. Men can choose what they do with their body. As far as a financial thing, I think it would be best if the government took care of this all overall and that men didn't have to worry about it in the first place. But as long as that's not the case, I think that whoever
The government
has
took care
custody,
of what?
the
I'm
other
sorry.
person, if the government
like
helped
what-
women with their kids, I think that would be best. So, like, I even think that would limit, like abortions
already
as
do.
well, because not as
Yeah.
much.
No.
Well, lots of women have abortions because of financial issues in the first
Are
place.
you
So,
kidding me? There are people who the way that they help out women with babies, it incentivizes them to have more children.
Right.
That's not true. They don't
I
give them
don't
enough money
know.
for it to be
Yeah, I
worth
That's
it.
don't-
not really.
Oh my god! How
They
many
don't give them enough
how many
money.
hours
The
a
amount
day
of
did
money-
you spend in those?
The amount of money you get from the government for, like, to take care of a child.
A single mom in there with 6 kids because she knows she's gonna keep getting more and more fucking
Exactly.
baby bonus and
Oh.
welfare.
Okay,
every
The
month.
welfare queen
but that's
things
a
are
bad
not-
investment.
The
She's making a bad
majority,
financial
I'm
It's
telling
decision.
not beneficial. You
Yeah,
would be
she's
better
gonna-
off just getting a freaking job.
She's getting
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah,
in this.
but
She's gonna
listen,
end
if
up
she
with a
didn't
dog.
have this, like, listen, if she didn't have this outlet and she couldn't depend on taking child support from the guy, not only would the woman make better choices on who they're gonna fucking sleep with, so would the guys, right?
I
Because
agree with that. I do
they
agree with
both
that.
know they have
I'm not
an
sure about
equal
that.
in and out of this shit.
That's my caveat. I think that if we do this, I think that it's going to cause a lot of suffering for women on the short term, and on the long term, we're gonna have to make massive like social like changes to like the way that we like men and women interact, the way that we choose who we fuck and shit like that, and
What
then
about all
it
the
would
men
end
that
up in
have
a
been
more
fucking
feminist society.
suffering? What are we talking about? There's gonna be a little bit of suffering for women. What do you mean? Men are fucking
No.
suffering every day because
With
women
the
are
way-
fucking.
Sure,
Look
so
at that
supplement
chick
money.
that got
Supplement
hot
that money.
sauce
Have the
in her
government give it to him
pussy because
instead.
She tried to chop Drake. Look at
Take it
that.
from
Like, these
taxpayers.
chicks out here. Like,
Cool.
what do you mean?
I just
I'm
think
with you.
anyways,
Hey,
so
if
as
it
long
was
as there's
my
no-
way, I'd just
welfare
take away
queen
abortion. But
argument.
since we can't do that, I want to fight for men to have the right too.
Let's go back to the topic, because I am pro-life. I think that abortion is wrong. The problem is
Right,
that this is
same.
not an argument as far as like men should be
not what
able
I'm
to
arguing.
financially abort is a totally different thing as far as consistency goes. So I
Sure.
think that if like a man has the kid, the woman should be paying child support. If the woman has the kid, the man should be paying child support if it's needed, if it's necessary. In lots of cases, I think most cases, they're like they don't even ask for child support from the other person because part of them getting custody is that they're like financially stable and capable of taking care of the kid in the first place. But outside of that, if you have a kid, if you have sex unprotected or have sex to where you can have a kid, you understand that this is a possibility, just the same as a woman understands it's a possibility. I'm not going to say, hey, women shouldn't have abortions, but also men, you should be able to financially abort. I think that it's wrong for both. I think the men should have to pay child support,
but
and I
this
think
is
women
not
should
what
stop
I'm
getting abortions.
arguing,
Child
Tom.
support
That's
is
not this
racist.
argument, bro. That's not this argument. If I wanted to argue pro-life, I would argue that. But I'm not arguing
That's
that
what I'm
because the
saying.
chances of that fucking happen would be slim.
That's not what
to
I'm
none.
saying. That's not
Huh?
what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, you are. You're saying it's
I'm
both
saying it's a
wrong.
category error.
I'm not saying
it's a
if it's
category
wrong
error.
or right. I'm not saying if it's wrong or right morally. I'm saying it's
I understand.
equal.
I'm saying
So
a
wait,
category error. I'm saying it's not equal. It's about bodily autonomy. The man still has bodily autonomy. These are
The
consistent
fuck
across
he
the board.
does. How do you support the kid without using your body?
Okay, can
He has to
we-
work
Go to
harder
work,
for it,
Tom.
which
You
is
need
what he
to body.
means.
That's not bodily autonomy. That's not what that is. That's totally different. That's insanely different.
What
Wait,
do you
no, it's
mean?
not.
If you have
You
to
can-
support a
Yes.
child,
do you
Tom,
consider
I don't know how if you know how this works. If I live in a cardboard box, I still have to pay child support, eh? It doesn't matter.
Yes.
They don't give a fuck about my mortgage. They don't give
I'm
a
well
fuck about
aware.
all my bills. There's a
I'm
set
well aware.
fucking price I have to pay every month. And I have
Yeah.
to work to get that money. It's my body that pays the fucking money. You don't
That's
get
not
no
the same
fucking
thing as
Your
bodily
labor is what
autonomy.
gets your
That's different.
finances. So it's
That's not bodily
autonomy.
autonomy. No, that is not bodily. You don't understand what bodily autonomy is. That's
Forced
different. There's
labor.
a category
What are you
error on top
talking
of
about?
category error on top of category error here. That is not. I
But
understand you're saying it's your body that's involved in this, so now it's bodily autonomy. Bodily autonomy is what is done to your body, not what you do with your body. It's what is done to your body. That is
So when
completely
you get fucking pregnant, right? What happened?
you had sex with
Happens.
somebody.
Right?
You got
What
pregnant.
happens?
Yeah, you made a choice, and now
You're
you should
doing
have
it
the
to
kid.
your body. It's not something that happened to your body.
Wait, but Speakeasy, it continues to happen to your body for 9 months, though.
Yes, the
And it's
argument
going to
is
continue
whether
to
or not-
happen to me for
Hold on,
fucking
hold on.
18
Wait,
years.
wait,
And if
Unless,
you have
unless
no,
we
no,
supplement
hold on,
that with government money.
Hey,
Hell
you
yeah.
guys-
Down a different line. No, the problem.
No,
is
you guys
that,
didn't
like,
even
it would
listen to
have
my
to be
point.
enforced. No, I did.
What did I
The
just
problem
fucking
is that
say?
it would be. I didn't get to argue against it. You have no clue if I listen to your point. The problem is
You
that
said
the government
I
would
was
have to
gonna
actually
do
enforce you
wait
to
2
have
years.
that baby, and so that would now be an issue with your bodily autonomy. Now something is being done to your body, whereas like I understand your argument that like having the baby is not something being done to your body, but the government enforcing you to have the baby is something being enforced on your body. That is different.
Okay, but it's
You
still being
opening your
enforced. So
legs
so
was putting
hold
it
on,
in
hold
your
on,
body.
hold on.
You didn't.
It's
the
still
government
being
didn't come and
enforced.
strap your legs open and let the dude fuck you. That's not what happened.
It just sounds
Government didn't do that.
Okay, but it's still
Fine.
being enforced that if the man doesn't want the child, that he still has to pay child support for something. If he doesn't pay that child support, he will eventually go to jail. So that technically is bodily autonomy.
Thank you.
Yes, but hold on. Say no.
I love how he does.
Putting
I
somebody
just
in
need to
jail
throw
is
a pair
not
of
doing
pistols.
something
Shut
to
the
your
fuck
body.
up like
That's
us.
still different. But because
Which
again,
would
we're
it
talking
happen
about.
to you in jail? I'm gonna get you on the phone with Martin. It definitely is doing something to your body. But first of all, I do want to say one thing really quick. I would be considering linking this to abortion though. So like for instance, if you were in a state where abortion was illegal, then I would say that this should not be allowed either.
I was
Like
gonna
if
ask that. That's great.
or-
Yeah, I'm curious.
if abortion if it's
Yeah.
if it's a pro state, then a man
For
cannot
sure.
just like get rid of his life. However, if you're in like a state like California where you could like murder your child up to like 2 months post, I mean that's not the case, but they
Come
tried.
on.
They tried. You
2
I
months?
see coder.
There's no shot. Send me that.
No,
Send me that.
2 months post.
I'll message you about
birth.
it. I want to see that.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
agree
just
with
not
that.
understanding how you're not seeing where the woman right
It's
now,
not-
with the woman being the
Post-birth.
only one that has the choice of having the abortion or not. She's the one who forces this man's choice.
Yes. And okay, and then another question I have, Tom.
He
really
doesn't,
quick.
because my argument is still that she had sex with him, so she should have the kid. It's the same argument. He had sex with her. He should be
Look.
financially responsible for the kid.
In a completely perfect
In
world.
a world where women have
No, no,
the
no.
choice too, Tom.
Listen,
I'm talking in this world that we have right now, Tom.
Yes,
Not
A lot of
in
our
a
states,
world
a lot of our
where
U.S. states,
abortion is
women
legal
don't have that
in this
choice.
world
Look,
right now.
Yes,
Look,
and I think
in
that's
a perfect-
category error. That it's
in a
not about
perfect
giving up
world-
parenthood. It's about what you do with your body. These are different things. You don't have to do anything with your body to have a job. Go freaking play the stock market. Go buy Bitcoin. You don't have to do anything with your body. Having money has literally nothing to do with your body. Having
Yeah,
money-
okay, good. Go have a seminar down at the homeless shelter and tell those guys to go fucking
I
go
don't think
do
that's a
Bitcoin.
good idea. I'm
fuck
saying
are you
that
talking
this isn't an
about, bro?
argument about bodily autonomy. I don't think that's a good thing to do. I'm saying this has nothing to do with bodily autonomy.
What are you
Forcing somebody to
using
have
when you
kids-
do the stocks and
forcing
shit? What are you
somebody to have
using,
kids-
Tom?
Forcing somebody to have kids is literally only a bodily
What do you
autonomy argument.
What do you
So
have
you're
to
talking-
do? What do
Look.
you have to do when you do stocks and Bitcoin and shit? Do you have to use your brain at all?
See, this isn't bodily autonomy. You're not
I
listening.
have
What is being done to your body? What is being done to your freaking body? That
When
is what
I
matters.
don't want to pay the child support and they come force me with a gun to a little cell and I can only stay in there, eat what they give me, maybe get beat up by dudes in there and all this shit.
That's different.
Okay.
Okay.
You
Okay,
gonna
well, I
listen?
have something to say.
Wait, no,
I have a
hold on.
quick
Let me ask
question.
you a
I
You,
question.
you don't let nobody
Oh my
finish,
God.
bro.
Let somebody else talk. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's my fault. Go ahead. My fault.
Okay,
Well, I
quick
ju-
question.
No, we're listening to Ginger.
Ginger, go ahead.
No, go ahead,
Okay.
Lauren. I'll go after you.
I fucking forgot. Tom, okay, wait, no, I remember. Tom, what is worse, someone being allowed to murder your child, or them, like, okay, so for right now, women are allowed to literally kill your child, and there's nothing that a man can do about it. And or that's their first choice, or their second choice is to have the baby, maybe possibly against his will, and then force him to give her money. So either way, like, she has all of the legal power. But if you want to talk about systemic racism, this is systemic gender, systemic sexism. This is systemic sexism. The laws are literally written to fuck over men in their scenario.
Letting women get
There is
abortions.
sexism
So true.
either way, because if you say that women can't have abortions, this is a scenario where men literally will never have to make this decision, never have to deal with this problem. It's going to be discriminatory one way or the other. There's not a way that you can deal with this scenario without it being discriminatory, because only women can have
Oh
kids.
my god.
This
Okay,
would even
Tom, no, stop. Let me stop.
It's on a playing field.
'Cause I don't know if, like,
Battle of the Sexes bullshit.
Eventually.
I don't know if I got my
My
take here
argument
out.
still hasn't even been engaged with yet. The category error is the problem. That is the thing. It's not consistent.
It is consistent though. It is consistent because you just said it would. Right now, women can choose. They can choose either I don't fucking have the kid or I do. They
Why?
have this choice, right?
Why? Why do they have the choice?
Yeah.
That's what it's consistent on. Why they have the choice. That is the consistency.
Because it's legal.
Okay, so
Because it
No,
grows inside
because
them.
there's
It's growing
bodily
inside
autonomy.
them.
Because it's bodily autonomy. That's the consistency.
All right.
Men and women both
So-
have bodily autonomy.
my problem is that it keeps being said that what's been done to her body. I'm sorry, but unless she's been forced to have sex, it's not been done to her body. She is
No.
doing to her
You know,
body.
the thing that has been
Like
done
this-
to her
the-
body is what God did when he made it
Again,
so that a baby
I'm
would be
saying
grown
The
inside of her.
government saying you have
What
to
does
have
that
the
have
kid.
to do with the?
Again, the government enforcing it on you to say that you have to have the kid. We're going to make sure that you have the kid. That is the enforcement on her body. That is the
Consent to
treatment for
sex
her
is
body.
not consent to the 9 months of
And
being
there's
pregnant.
there's so many things. I'm not done yet. There's so many. I'm sorry, but I have not been able to speak enough during this topic. There are so many things that can stop the pregnancy, like using condoms, using birth control, using both, pulling out, doing all three. There are so many things, or abstinence. But people are so fucking stupid with sex nowadays. They can't control they're not controlling who they have sex with, how many times they have sex, if they're having protected sex or not. Like, I don't feel
I'm
bad for
pro-life.
these people.
I agree with
If
all of
it-
this.
But as far as having pro-life, then understand that it's not just the female's bodily autonomy that's into play. It's both of theirs. They both made the consent to have a child or to have sex,
That's not
so
bodily
they should
autonomy.
both.
Different consent.
Oh my God, they should both have rights, to whether or not
That's
this child exists
they
or
both have
whether or not
rights.
they.
Whether or not they both have rights
It
is
is
different
about
than
whether
bodily
they have
autonomy.
rights.
I said, but whether or not they both have rights is one argument. Whether or not they have bodily autonomy is
when
totally
the woman,
Bro,
when
the
woman has
government
a
telling
baby-
you that you have
Hold
to go to
on.
fucking work to support a kid
Yeah.
is bodily autonomy. I don't know if
No,
you're
it's not.
deliberately just fucking
You're
doing
not
this to
looking.
be
Go
dumb
look
or
up the
what you're
word
doing
bodily
right now,
autonomy.
right?
That
This
is
is the
not.
dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
I don't
not
care
bodily
about
have to
autonomy.
go to
autonomy.
work.
Wrong.
Shit.
You
You're
have to
just
go
wrong.
to work. It's your body that you go to work for. The average fucking dude
not
isn't going to
bodily
be able to go do Bitcoin and shit, bro. That's
It's
not
not
how
bodily
fucking
autonomy.
life works. Like, what are we
Not bodily
talking about right now?
It's not bodily autonomy. I
Okay.
already explained why, but you're not engaging with that. So
I
Ginger was
I
trying
really
to
want-
respond to what I said.
I want a good
No, I just-
engage
I
right
need
now
to
because I
talk.
think I finally understand where you're coming from. You're saying bodily autonomy is so like I agree with what Ginger's saying. Ginger's saying we need to both have male rights and female rights. Right now, women have the right to choose to either keep the baby or get rid of it. So men need to also have the choice of either supporting it or not supporting it. And you were saying from the beginning, there's a distinction between the rights of people and the bodily autonomy of women. And that's why you're looking at these from two different aspects. However, I don't think the bodily autonomy is as important as the life of your child. Like, what's more important to you? Like, if you're a father, what's more important to you? You or your child? Typically, most
I
fathers
gotta
would
deal
probably
with something. I'm so sorry. I gotta deal with something.
Carry on.
Would probably. But does that make sense? Like most fathers would probably care more about the life of their child than their
for
own
paying for
life.
it?
Than their own life, and therefore like women get all of this they get all of this ability to have control not only of their own body but of their baby's body, and if father loses the right to like that control, and this is really the only thing that helps level the playing field at all.
Right.
Okay,
And
here's
I
the
just
thing.
want to expand.
I think that men have more options for. Excuse me. I think that women have way more options for contraception. They have way more options to have control over the fertility of the pregnancy.
Right.
Men, their main thing is going to be a condom. There is like male birth control and shit. That like that's shitty. But female birth control is shitty. But like women have like IUDs. They just have more options, and so I feel like if we want a true sexual revolution, which I mean, people can argue, like feminists can argue, men are already sexually liberated enough. We don't need to give them any fucking more. But if we want to have a true sexual revolution, then we actually need it so that like there is, if you actually go into sex not wanting a kid, that can already be predetermined. If this is going to be the case, I don't think we should allow this like retroactive. I changed my mind. I don't want to have a kid after the pregnancy. That has to be established before sex.
Whole point
you have to say, I don't want a kid. I don't want a kid now. If you get pregnant, I don't want that to happen. I don't consent to you getting pregnant.
Why is all the thing? This is what I say. This is what I'm saying.
After
Why is all the responsibility? Why is all the responsibility on? Oh, you nutted in her, bro. Why is it like that when it's not? Well, you let him fucking nut in you, bitch. What the fuck is it? Like, what are we doing here? Why is it always on? Like, is men superior? Are we supposed to take the lead? Then let's go back to traditional gender roles if that's how it's supposed to be, right? We're supposed to take all the fucking responsibility. Let's do that then. Let's go back to how it used to fucking be, since we're the only ones who have responsibility. You want equality everywhere, or just the spots that benefit women? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. What are we talking about?
Wait. Ginger had something.
Well, I just want to say that, this is basically for Tom, so I just want to repeat this. There's more to bodily autonomy than your body. There's power, there's agency, there's choice. Everything involved in that is bodily autonomy. It's not just about what happens to your physical body.
The reason that I like the idea of having men have the option to sign off, specifically only in states in which women have the ability to abort, is that will mean that people will be more critical of the state that they're living in and more decisive, like what kind of laws that they want regarding their sexual liberation.
Women would make better choices too of who they let fucking nut inside them, since he has the chance to just walk away from it.
So with the hope that women might make better choices, we're gonna fuck over a bunch of people and let a bunch of kids like starve because we don't want to let them eat, right?
No, I think it'll
eventually the next generation.
What do you mean by that right now?
Well, like because the whole reason we have child support payments.
Pro-life. I think it will encourage people to vote pro-life.
The whole reason we have child support payments is so the kids are taken care of, right? That's the only thing I care about. I'm not attached to the idea that men are giving money to the children. I care about the children having the things they need. That's the only thing I give a shit about. So in a world where we don't have we don't have the resources being distributed to them properly through like any meaningful welfare, I don't think our welfare system actually does that very well.
So wait, you think women are so stupid that if they knew that there's a law? Wait, it seems like you think like women are so stupid that if there's a law that men can walk away, they're gonna say, well, fuck it anyways, I'll still fuck them and let them nut inside of me. No, they're gonna be
it's gonna happen, absolutely. It's absolutely going to happen. Yes. Even if you're right and it happens at a lower rate, it's still going to be happening, right?
And it happens what?
This is all you're like wagering on like what potentially things may happen. Like I totally like reject the logic of this, like it needs to be fair because blah 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 blah. Like when we're talking about like the idea that like women having the right to not grow a child in their body for 9 months, like if they decide to opt out of that process, that like men necessarily have to have something on the other side of the coin. That logic's broken. But like we can say that like the kid needs to be taken care of as the priority, and we can just focus on that. We don't have to do this battle.
Yeah, the life has to be taken care of from the second it's fucking made, right? So I could just say that the life has to be taken care of, right?
I just want people to be able to nut inside each other.
Feel that.
Right. The thing with the financial abortion is more. It's actually, if you want to think about it, it's more selfish towards the adults in the situation, right? Because they
Yeah.
both are alive and they want their bodily autonomy. That's my thing. If it was my way, I'd just take away abortion. I'd just take away
Right.
abortion.
Can we just
I think if you paired the two, then people would start voting pro-life, and including women. And I think if we started pairing the two, women would start realizing why it's important to be more concerning about like their ability to get pregnant, when they get pregnant, and who they get pregnant by.
Can we just stop and enjoy the fact that Smith's paused on interesting.
And if you
Sorry
want
for
me
the
to be
people.
like specific about it too, yeah, that's funny. I think it should be like kind of like the same rules there is with abortion, right? Like they can't be like 9 months pregnant and just fucking kill the kid, can they? Right? So you guys wouldn't agree with that.
I mean,
You
that only
agree
really
with, like,
happens when it's like a necessity.
no, but
right?
you would agree mostly like to a certain term, right?
I don't.
So like,
I don't
you
care
wouldn't
about that. I
agree
care
that the
about,
kid could be born and then like 10 years old, you're like, I don't want this kid anymore. Let's
Put them up
kill
for
it.
adoption. Hell,
Like, you
no,
don't-
no, you don't have to kill them when they're out of your body. Put them up for
No,
adoption.
but
What do you mean?
listen,
Oh, you know what? It's
listen.
crazy.
But can you just keep up with what I'm asking?
Okay.
I
Some
know you
states
don't
will
have to kill them. That wasn't my question. If you had to, I'm asking if you think it's okay if you
Kill it.
wanted to.
If you wanted to kill it,
I mean, some states
Right.
allow you to.
No,
If
and
you wanted to
I
kill it,
don't
you should
think.
definitely put it up for adoption. You should definitely put it up for
Yeah,
adoption.
yeah,
if you
yeah.
wanna kill the
Okay.
child.
So, like, so do you think then maybe after the kid's born, the guy then he should be able to sign off his rights? Like, oh, okay, I'm giving it up for adoption to you.
I would be okay with that as long as there are resources going to the mother to take care of that kid. I don't care if they come from the guy or not. That's indifferent to me. As long as those resources get there.
Okay,
that's
so
what I care
you
about.
just care about the resources. So you
care about the kid. Yes, the child.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but like my thing is right where you don't care about the kid until it's born.
No, I can still care about this. This was the thing I was getting at Smith earlier. I think that it's sad. I think that most women who get abortions also think that it's sad, and they still often decide to do it. Right? It's a very difficult decision, and it's a very complicated issue, and we should have room in those conversations. I heard the best quote on it I heard was like, we need to have empathy for the we need to have empathy for the feminist who regrets her abortion and the Catholic who's thankful for hers. I think we need to have empathy for both those people. I think it's a really difficult decision, but I don't. It's not because I don't care about the child inside them, right? It's because they're going through something different.
Okay, so oh my gosh.
Kind of bad.
So this is what I mean. So like until the kid is born, like she gets the. What if the man wants that kid now, and 3 months in, she's like, ah, fuck it, never mind.
Sorry,
then, like,
you
so
can't
we don't
enslave
give
your
a
wife.
fuck
You
about
can't
him
enslave
in
your
that
girlfriend or
situation.
your ex-girlfriend or whatever, or the girl you fucked. You can't enslave her to grow your child for you. Sorry.
Right, so I don't think she should be able.
financial abortion
Right,
would-
so thank you, Coder, and I don't think she should be able to enslave men. Listen,
That's
I don't
so
think she.
fucked what you just said. So there's a video that went viral of this man who was pleading his girlfriend not to murder their child. And the way that you callously just said, well, she should be forced.
Rory, I'm sorry, I can't keep up with chat all the time when I'm on a panel. I try to focus
not
on the
muted.
panel and not let my chat dictate what I talk about, or dictate my opinion, or So
Yeah.
that's
Lauren, you're actually
I
right.
try
You're
not
actually
to
right.
look at
I
chat
should have
too
more
much.
empathy for those guys. I should. I do. I really do. I think it's sad. I am being glib there, and it's fair to call me out for that. I'll give you that. Yeah.
I think that a
And I
financial
think that-
abortion will necessitate perfect contraception.
They do have the power to deprive female of their
That's what
autonomy
I'm
and
trying to
agency, but
say,
they've
bro.
always
I
had that
think-
power
yo,
with
I
men.
think people would be more.
And I'm not saying that it's
cautious if
good,
they had the choice.
what they've done. I think that women should have a choice. I couldn't do it myself, but I think women should have a choice.
Yeah, just like I think men should. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I've thought about it, and like, I've thought about different reasons to argue against the abortion, but like instead of arguing against that, I think something that would fix the solution to women having a bunch of meaningless abortions, because like that does affect your body in a few different ways. But I think if they knew that they would force dudes to wear condoms before they fuck. They would be on birth control. Like they would be a lot more fucking cautious with who they're letting fucking nut inside them.
The
They're
idea
not
that
like
abortion
women
is
meant
really
needless.
easy for most women is
He meant
just
needless,
true.
not meaningless.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
What did
I
say?
think
We need to invent a perfect contraception, then we can have complete financial financial because if every child is 100% wanted, like I think that like financial abortion like kind of forces us to imagine it in a world where all children are wanted, right? And you're like, well, one party wanted the child and one party didn't want the child. But I want to live in a world where I only have a kid if I want it.
True.
Okay, but
Me too.
unfortunately, there's two people who are making a decision. And so if you have two careless people who are kind of making a gamble, and then it's such an interesting, it's one of those only situations in which this scenario exists. You have two people making a major risk carelessly, and now they're stuck in this dilemma where one person wants it, one person doesn't. You're like, oh, in a dream world, all babies are loved by both parents and wanted by both parents. Okay, well, that's not the situation. It's not the situation we've been in since we've had the inception of abortion. So we have to deal with reality. And the only way to legally even the playing field is to have states in which abortion is allowed, to allow men to opt. If women can opt out of their responsibilities, then men should be able to opt out of their responsibilities as well.
The framing of abortion as women opting out of their responsibility implies that they necessarily already have this natural natural law basically that they have the responsibility to carry that baby for 9 months.
There is a natural law.
They are having
sex.
God might have told you that.
You
God might have
you
said
get
No.
That's fine.
By all
Everybody.
I know. I understand where babies come from, right? So the point is that consent to that does not necessarily mean that you consent to spend the next 9 months carrying that baby. If you decide during that you don't want to do that, then you should have that option. That's what I'm saying. And this
If you think that sex is just something like, oh, well, it's just fucking sex and it's okay if I nut in this person because it feels fucking good, or it feels better to have sex without a condom, or I don't want to take birth control or something like that. There's always fucking an excuse as to why these things happen. It's never just like, oh, I used all three and somehow I got pregnant still or something like that. There's small cases of that kind of stuff happening. But it's infuriating to hear that these people don't have like they have bodily autonomy, but they don't have bodily autonomy when they're fucking.
Right.
So what's the deal? We're responsible enough to have sex, but we're not responsible enough to deal with the situation after, like when the repercussions of the said situation. Like, it's fucking ridiculous the entitlement that people have when they have sex. It's like, oh, it's one of the most selfish things that you can do without thinking about like the repercussions of it. If you have sex, it's a 99% possibility that you might think about it that way. Think about it that it could be a 99% possibility that you're gonna have a baby, and you might not have the sex as often.
What's
but
wild?
That's what I mean. Like, just. But do you feel complacent in? Well, hold on. I'm sorry, Lauren, but do you feel complacent in the fact that you've had sex that many times and you've never had a kid? I bet you do.
I'm glad I don't have a kid right now. Yeah.
But you're complacent in the fact that you've had sex so many times that it means that you've got so used to the fact that you've had the 1,000 times where you haven't had a kid.
That's awesome. Thank God.
Okay, but you're not getting what I'm saying. So Lauren, go ahead.
I don't understand either.
She's saying that there should be a moral weight to sex. I don't agree, but that's what she's saying.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
There's responsibility for everything we do in life. Everything.
There's repercussions.
I do not understand.
For sex, we're just like, fuck it.
Yes, but the responsibility is the potential repercussions for it, not that there ought to always be repercussions. And so it's the potentiality.
Right, because it ought to be always repercussions, right? There's lots of things that can prevent those repercussions. If you don't take those steps, but you get to say, fuck it, I can just get this thing sucked out of me anyways, then what the fuck? So that's why I'm saying,
do you guys only want financial abortion just to spite abortion?
I have three kids. I support all three of my kids. I wouldn't do this myself, but I think men should have the right to do this. This is my point. I just want everybody to
I'm not against abortion
here. That I have 3 kids from 3 different women. I support all fucking 3 of them. I wouldn't do this myself, but I think men should be able to fucking do it. That's it. Like, what was the whole fucking equality fight for if now we're fucking one's above the other?
Okay, so we were talking about responsibility earlier, why is it the woman's responsibility? Why is it that pro-life people or bodily autonomy people are always talking about that 9 months that women have the child, but barely talking about the actual major event, which is motherhood and fatherhood? That's what when I was talking about responsibility, like, okay, yeah, you have like 9 months of a body, and I'm not trying to like mitigate that, because I do understand that it is large changes, your hormones and everything, but that is nothing compared to the changes of your life because you have now become a mother or you now have become a father. So if women have the choice to get rid of the responsibility of motherhood, then men should also have the choice of getting rid of the responsibility of fatherhood.
But they both do. They can put it up for adoption if they both decide on that. That's always an option for both parties.
No,
Or if they're a single parent,
Can you get a
adoption
financial adoption? Like, so you can be like
That's
you can
true.
impregnate her. So maybe you could say, well, I want to put my fatherhood up for adoption, and then any other takers, and you just like leave, and then like.
That's not, yeah, exactly. You can't do that. That's not how the law works. I literally have I literally have a degree.
I don't know then. How hard is it
No,
to
you
put
can-
a kid up for
it's
adoption?
actually-
Well, what
Oh,
I'm
it's
saying is
actually
you can't have one party
I
do
could
that.
They should make it
it.
easier. Yeah.
I could explain this. It's actually really interesting. So a lot of these laws were created since before the advent of like DNA testing. So in many states, you're declared the father if you're like married to the woman at the time she gives birth, as if you portray yourself as the father for the first 2 years of the child's life. If you signed the birth certificate, you don't even have to actually be the father. And then you'll be burdened with all of the responsibility of taking care of the child. And if you don't do it, then you're considering neglecting the child.
Wait, what does
So-
that have to do with adoption?
Yeah,
But
so you
that's
can't
because
just like
we
be
care
like,
about the
oh,
kids,
I'm
though.
giving it up for adoption. I, as the father, is giving it up for the adoption to the mother. That's
No,
not a
that's not
thing
what I was
that
talking about though. Because we were talking about like the responsibility of parenthood, but like if both parents absolutely, if both parents don't want the child, they can absolutely put it up for adoption.
Okay, but that's not the situation I was talking about. So if women have the ability to completely get rid of their responsibility of motherhood, then fathers also single-handedly, of their own volition, of their own choice, unilaterally, should also be allowed to get rid of their responsibility
If
of
you care
fatherhood.
so much
Lauren,
about
you're a
fairness.
lawyer. You understand that that's not how it works legally. Legally, it's about the privacy and bodily autonomy argument, which men also have. So it's a totally different thing legally when it comes to consistency. Just as men have to pay child support, women also have to pay child support. It's about the consistency within the legality of it. You can't say, well, women get to choose not to have kids, therefore men get to choose to have kids. That's not the legal argument here.
Yeah, it absolutely, you should have equal responsibility. Currently, the laws as they stand are sexist towards men when it comes to paternal rights. This is an idea that would at least even the playing field in states in which abortion is legal, that if women have the right to opt out of being the mother of the child that is created during the consensual sex, then men should also have the right to opt out of parenthood.
Yeah, but if the whole thing's about fairness, if we're talking about like it needs to be fair, then you should be obsessed with making sure that we can create artificial wombs for men so that it's fair, because men should also have to go through the process of growing a child if women have to go through it. Like it's like this isn't how we'd approach any of these problems. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it's
Or,
not
yeah,
their
or
fault
not
to
even that.
grow
Like
a baby.
so, she wants to abort and he doesn't, so she can put it into his.
Yeah, sure.
It is about the legal equality. So there's nothing that we can do to change like nature in biology and the results of sex. However, we can change the books on the laws to make sure that they're equal for all races and all genders and all.
Okay, wait, hold on. So this is like legally when we're talking about. I think I'm going to agree with you. Hold on. Okay, so legally, in order for discrimination to exist, the outcomes have to be different. As long as the outcomes are different, the discrimination exists. So that makes sense. And I think I might be a little bit more convinced that because the outcomes are so different, even though the laws don't say like specifically we're going to treat men and women differently, the outcomes are going to be different anyways. So I think I agree to some extent. but that also means that like systemic racism definitely exists, because even though the laws are the same, the outcomes are going to be different anyways. So it's just one
Well,
of them.
because races aren't like the difference between races aren't the
This
same
guy
as the
gonna use
difference.
my argument to say systemic racism exists. You fucking prick. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you prick saying that true thing about racism.
That's
Just wanted to point out the inconsistency there, but yeah, I think it makes sense. Like, because legally, yes, as long as the outcomes are different, like then the
they
discrimination
don't even
exists. And
constitutionally treat gender and race the same. Just so you know, it's an intermediate discrimination for gender, and it's a strict scrutiny discrimination for race, because race and gender are not even categorically the same in a legal
They
sense.
shouldn't be. They're different. I agree.
So
wait, but
bad take.
what do you mean? They're both protected classes. They both have like
They're
discriminatory laws.
You
that
guys,
are
you know,
similar.
like we're not even getting into the fact too of
Hold
like
on,
after
hold on.
the.
Let me answer that question. Tom, how are they different? Because gender is an intermediate level and race is strict scrutiny.
Yeah, okay. I understand that there are differences. I'm saying that the discrimination, like
I was gonna say
Okay.
what I was gonna say is we're not even getting into the fact that like even after like a girl does have the kid, right? She basically, especially the way the laws are now, she basically has all say if you get to see the fucking kid, how fucking parental visits is gonna go.
No.
What do you mean, no, man?
No, that's not true. Legally, men, as long as they fight for custody, they get custody
Fuck
in
you, bro.
over
Don't
90%
tell
of
me
cases.
that. Don't tell me
In
that.
over 90% of cases, as long as men
I
fight
did
for
it
custody,
myself,
they get
dog. I
custody.
did it myself. Don't
I don't
tell
think
me
it's
that.
over 90%.
Don't tell
I
me
think
that.
it's
It
a
is
lot
over
lower than
90%.
I did it myself, bro. Don't tell me that.
What do you
that.
mean
I
you
thought
did it
last
yourself?
time
That
I
doesn't
checked,
mean
it was like
anything.
I did it.
That
I'm the
means
one
literally
who fought.
nothing.
I'm the one who fought, bro.
Yes, I understand
am.
that means that you're in the 10%. That I didn't say 100%. I said 90%. 90% of men, if they fight for custody, they get custody. Most men don't fight for custody, but it is around 90% of men who fight for custody get
I've
custody.
never heard this
But
stat in
I
my
know a
life.
guy. I know a guy that has two. One's 18 and one's like 19 or something. So they're leaving his house soon or something. But the mother never paid child support ever, and he kept trying to get her to do it, and she was never once held to it ever.
Okay, so
think that
I just want to show that the highest rate of that in a state that men get custody is 50%. It doesn't go over 50% in any state that a man
So
can get
men
custody.
who
So it's
seek
either
custody are
50-50
more likely,
or the
men
women
who
get
seek
custody.
custody are more likely than not to get it. 72% win in their custody cases. In one study where both parents fought hard for custody, mothers were awarded custody only 7% of the time. So it is almost like because men normally are going to make more money, they're going to be more financially stable. Almost like by far the majority of the time, it seems like if men fight for custody, they get it. But there's a tons of studies that say that women are getting more custody the majority of the time because they're not including the fact that men just aren't fighting for custody. Whereas if you just look at the ones where both parents fight for custody, it's completely different numbers.
I would be curious what the stats are like with the women getting. So even if it's 90% of the time when men fight for custody, they get
It's funny
custody.
as fuck.
I wonder
even,
what
like,
percent.
the fact that we even have to fight for custody.
Hold on.
What the fuck?
I wonder
You have
what
to
percent
financially
custody.
support it, but custody, better fight for that, buddy. What the fuck is this, bro? Like the whole thing is one-sided, and you don't see it. It's right from the start. From
Wait, no,
fucking start of birth.
you have
to the
custody
end. It's all
unless
one-sided.
no,
I'm
you
trying to
have
learn-
custody
You
unless
don't
they try to
see
take
this.
it from
It's
you.
all fucking
Yeah.
consistent with each other, man.
Wait, no,
Don't you
what
agree
you
with
just
them,
said is
Lauren?
just actually
Custody's the
incorrect. Like,
default,
you
right?
have custody. You have custody. Like technically, you're on the birth certificate. You have custody from the beginning. You have to fight to get custody taken away.
Okay. That's not how it is.
That's not how that works. Like when you file for
I don't
divorce,
know where you fucking seen that ever,
file
but that's
for
not
divorce,
how
you
that is.
when you start filing for divorce, that's when the custody disputes come in. So if you're saying 90% of the time that there's a custody dispute,
Or
the
if
man
you
gets
were never married. That's what I'm talking.
Or if
Like,
you were
'cause
never married,
lots of times, yeah.
I'm
So
ready to
what I'm
go.
asking, if 90% of the men get custody, I wonder what percentage of custody they get. So I wonder if those 90% typically get 50-50 versus like the women
Yeah,
who
some
fight,
custody.
those 10%, if those women get 100%, and then I'd be curious of the women who fight, what percentage they get custody, because I would bet that it would be higher than 90%, because that 90% probably includes men who are getting 50-50 custody. So you get
Or
what I'm
less.
saying? So I would imagine that the results are still unfairly biased towards the men. And even when
Well, so
it comes
this
to
specific
attorney's fees,
study is talking
like,
about sole
you
custody. It's saying if you fight
argue
for
that
sole
men
custody,
typically have the
94%
finance
of the time.
pay for the best attorney. Sorry, I know I keep freezing. It's like I'm in this shitty motel and the Wi-Fi is shit.
I
and
mean,
was
you're
going
not
with my
freezing
phone
nearly
line.
as much as Smeth is.
I'm
Yeah, you're
actually
fine.
Yeah,
perfect
no
on my
one
end. I'm
Matt, do you
perfect
live
on
in a
my end. Can you
motel?
guys hear me? I'm perfect on my. Like,
Right
can
now
you hear
we
me
can.
fine?
Yeah,
though?
you're good
We can
now.
hear you. We can hear you fine, but you freeze, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden you start talking, and like
My-
10 seconds later you start moving again.
My my
Yeah,
videos
so-
are perfect on my end. My stream's perfect and crisp and ideal.
So yeah, just
See, you're
I pulled
right
up the
like
full-
this now.
Yeah, so I pulled up the full thing. Men who seek custody are more likely than not to get it. Fathers who fight for custody typically get it. Every 30 years, 94% of fathers who sought custody got sole custody or joint custody. Abusive fathers are especially successful, which is weird. 72% win their custody cases. and
How
one
are you
Where the
getting
fuck
that?
are you getting this from?
are you
Abusive
getting
Yeah, where are
fathers?
you reading this
Oh
from?
my
I
god!
can
That's
give you guys
so
the.
Bro,
bullshit,
you
because
gotta
if you
prove.
know that
This is
that's
almost all
abusive,
studies.
She's a straight
getting
fucking
custody.
heroin
Yeah.
addict if you want any
Let
fucking.
This is
Fuck.
almost all
What
studies
the
come
fuck
up
are
with
you
these
talking
things.
about?
This is I can put it in I mean I like private
Private chat
chat.
or
Yeah, I'll
group chat,
put it in
whichever one.
private chat over here. Because yeah, this is literally every study that I've
Does
read
it
on the
go
case.
into
Men
the
are
women?
by far more likely to get
You know who
custody
got
or sole custody
Todd,
than almost all cases.
does
No
it go
liability.
into the women's? Does it go into the women's stats at all? And I used to think men would have
Abusive
somewhat of an
fathers.
easier time because of attorney's fees, but when it comes to family court, typically the provider has to pay the attorney's fees for both sides. So
I don't see a private chat option for us. I only see starred and live. Am I?
Oh,
no, I see a
Private chat? You don't see private chat?
that's
I
interesting.
put
Uh-uh.
Ola.
It
Put
just
in the
says
On the
starred and live.
side, bro.
Yeah, I see it. It just says starred and live at the top.
You don't chat at the
Place
top. It's at the
comments.
bottom. What are you looking at?
No, I know you don't chat at the top. On the side over here, you can choose starred or live to switch which chat you see so that I can switch which chat I type in. I don't
Yeah,
see it.
you're in comments, bro. Go down. You see where it says banners, brand, private chat?
Oh,
the
okay.
far
On mine, those two are the. Okay, yeah, I see it. On mine, those two have always been on the same thing. You just click the tab at the top. Okay, there you go.
Motherfucker. Boomer over
Alright.
here.
I
Bro.
have no
has,
idea
like,
what you're talking about. So.
It has the links on the
Oh,
on the parts as well, where you can click
I
on
see it. Okay.
the exact years and crap. So like it has one Washington Post article that links a study in it, and then the other one is dad's divorce rate or dadsdivorcelaw.com or
This
And
is
it
on
talks about-
something called Liberating Motherhood.
Yeah, it's a Substack, which I would.
yes,
join
but
as
it
well.
links to other things. Yes,
Sure.
there's tons of like law websites that go over this as well that I can link to that'll have similar stats.
I believe you, Tom. I'm just biased against Substack.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
I choose not to believe him. I never believe him. He didn't push on my back hard enough.
because yeah, most stats talking about custody are talking about just all custody, not like who fought for custody. They
Agreed,
don't
Rory.
include whether or not people fought for custody or not. So they're just saying like women, I think, win about 80% of custody cases overall, I think it's 82%. Yet it's not saying like women were actually fighting a man for custody in these cases. They're just saying women got custody as the outcome.
I mean, most women, if I'm gonna say most, but the women that are sought out for child support, who seek out the most child support, are the women that I fucking just
Typically
so
come
sorry.
from abusive
Okay,
relationships.
so I'm just looking at this one thing. Okay, I'm just I clicked on one of these links. I'm looking in this one thing here. Okay, here, let me bring this over here. Okay. So what it's like what it uses in its reference down here. One of the things is called, where was it? Shit, I just lost it moving it over here. Fuck. Oh, Richard A. Gardner, the parental alienation syndrome and the differentiation between fabricated and genuine child sex abuse, 69 to 70, 1987. So, like, is this like shit from like mad back in the day when women didn't have no fucking rights? Of course they were winning all
That's
the fucking
before I
time.
was born.
Like,
No,
what are
this
we
said over the
talking
30-year
about? Like, this shit
period.
referring in here to 1989, 1986.
Yeah, it said over a 30-year
Like, this
period.
shit's mad old as fuck. Yeah, maybe men won back then when women didn't have rights.
It says
This
a
is
30-year
like, come the
period.
fuck on. Did you even click on? Tell me you clicked on
Yeah.
one of those fucking links in that fucking
Yes,
article.
I have it right here in front of me. Yes, it has a 30-year period, as I've said numerous times. It's a 30 freaking year period.
That does
Yes,
make sense.
of
Yeah.
course.
Man, that sounds awful.
Well, that's a longer than 30-year period, actually.
It's not. It can go all the way up until 2010 and stop there. Like it doesn't have to be more than 30 years.
It stopped in 2010.
Yeah, I'm saying it can. Like it doesn't. I don't have the exact numbers in front
Buddy,
of me,
that's
but
23 years ago. If it was a 30, if it was a
Well, wait. When does the study? If the study's from 2010 and it goes back 30 years, what was the year that Speakeasy said? I don't know. Maybe
I just got put behind the paywall on the one that I was reading before. Yeah. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Because you guys
There's
are
a
arguing
lot to
about
go
like the
through here.
principle
There's
of
a
the
lot
law
to go
anyway.
through here, but I'm not with this whole abusive father. Abusive fathers are winning fucking cases I can't win. Get the fuck out of here. That's not true. I don't believe that one for
Yeah,
fucking
that-
ever.
That
Like,
one line, I don't even know
90%
why
kinda
they
crazy,
threw it in
but-
there because it doesn't.
bullshit.
It doesn't seem to even
Some
like help the
feminist
point.
fucking wrote that.
Based. What's wrong with being a feminist?
Everything.
Lots.
Cringe. Am I like the only feminist on the panel?
I'm
first
a
two
feminist. I'm a
waves-
feminist because
the first two waves, I'm with
non-feminist
it.
sex
If
sucks.
we want to talk about the first two waves, I'll be a feminist. After that, they can all go fuck themselves.
Okay, you do you.
I'm not a selfish lover.
That's what feminism's all about. The female
Yeah, it's all about
orgasm.
me. It's empowering women so that I can have sex with them, and they can consent.
Coda's a feminist.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Ginger,
news to
did you
me.
remember your topic?
yes.
Okay, so
Oh, no.
Speakeasy, if you want to close us out here,
Yeah.
we're gonna go to Ginger's topic.
Hey, listen, I'll just do
That
it
was
nice
a good
and
one,
easy.
Speakeasy. I really liked that convo. Thank you for bringing that.
No problem, no problem. That's actually a convo I've been wanting to have for a while now, and everyone fucking either gets in their feelings about it, but at least Tom got a little bit in his feelings, but it's okay. I still love him.
He's been feeling a lot. He's-
It's easy for me. It's easy.
Okay.
So the way that
I'm ready, Ginger.
I
Let's go.
and the government can't force a woman to have a child, I think the woman and the government shouldn't be able to force a man to support a child. Simple.
I'm ready.
And I just want to
Oh.
remind everybody, like I said, I have 3 kids and I wouldn't give up supporting them for anything in the world. But I think men should have this choice in general, and I think it would benefit the future generations of people coming up from making better fucking choices of who they sleep with.
Okay.
That's
All
it.
right. Ginger, before you make your argument, what is your general topic about?
All right. So my general topic is actually about IRL streaming,
What about
and it's basically should it be banned? There have been
Mm.
a lot of things, and I'm not saying that it should be, but it's been a topic of discussion. Recently, there have been 2 pranksters shot. We've got Zerka. Not
Zerka
Zerka.
was shot.
No.
That is hysterical,
no.
guys.
We've
Why haven't I
we've
seen
no.
Yo,
You're not
Zerka
gonna
got
get
shot.
Quiet. Hey, she's doing her opening statement. Quiet.
Sorry, go ahead.
Poor Zerka.
So no, we've not Zerka. We've got Fuzi in an institution. We've got that little neon kid who keeps getting himself beat up on stream. That Jack kid who keeps inviting thugs over
Jack
to his
Doherty.
house. So yeah,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
just different situations like this that
Thug
people
chaser.
are putting themselves in situation because they know that people will watch it. And the more extreme they do, the more people will watch, the more it'll get shown around, and the bigger the clout that they get. The kid in question, the one Jack, what was his name?
Jack Doherty.
Yeah, he makes a living off of pranks that he says are real. Which we know that if it's a real prank, this day and age, that they're actually doing harm in society because they're doing things like the one kid before he got shot, he offered to pay for a family's meal, and he in the process of doing this, he also told them that he wanted to smash their brains in with a rock.
Wait, what? How did this happen? Explain. Wait,
So
what?
they were in front of an In-N-Out, and okay, this is the story. They were in front of an In-N-Out, and he asked them if they would buy him something because he was hungry. The man offered to buy him something, and he said, "If you didn't offer, I was going to pick up this rock and smash your head in."
And so the guy shot him?
No. He ended up getting shot for something completely different like a week later.
No. Okay.
What did he get shot for though?
Shot for?
Okay, so he got shot for following somebody closely in a store, and he wouldn't leave them alone. Like he was just like
harassing,
messing up in their space. Like he was like up in their face, just doing one of these things. The recent guy who got shot as well at the mall.
I saw that.
This was, I think, this was a few days. It was a similar situation to that where he was stepping in his space. He refused to back off.
And putting his phone in his face and playing like a sound.
Yeah,
There was another one where the guy pretended he was gonna rob somebody and he got shot too. He said, "Oh, give me your money," and fucking the guy ended up pulling out a gun.
Oh
on him.
yeah.
So what's
Did
the
you see
question?
that video that went
so
viral?
IRL
with
streaming.
you guys?
Hold on. Okay, so Ginger, so what is your argument on this?
So
should it be banned?
Should there be should it be banned, or should there be certain rules in place that if they are going to do IRL streaming, if things are done in a specific way, should they be kicked off the stream? Like should there be an
So are you arguing for like more regulation on IRL streaming, or are you arguing to just get rid of IRL streaming?
I'm arguing for more regulation. But I'm wondering what.
Are you asking?
Okay,
for
so laws or TOS,
Yeah, TOS.
Okay.
Because I think that in the majority, if it's against the TOS and they actually go against it, then it should be something that's a huge thing, because they're not just like doing little things anymore. They're going into hotels and screaming at the top of their lungs. They're fucking with society, and it's fucking irritating. So I'm just wondering, do you guys agree with the scenario going, or the thing going around that people are saying on Twitter that they IRL streaming should be banned?
Okay, so
I think that
show of hands, real quick. Hold on. Show of hands. Who thinks IRL streaming should be banned?
No.
Who thinks there needs to be more regulation on IRL streaming? Show of hands.
Yeah, I'm down for regulation. Yeah.
TOS, yeah.
I'm against this.
Okay, so
I think
Smith, go
it's
ahead.
a different. I think that the solution, the problem is the platforms are incentivizing this. They know that it goes viral. It gets like so TikTok like it makes it like go to the fucking front of the algorithm and shit like that. We need to de-incentivize it.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like
the kids that hit that guy on the bike, like that never would have happened if they didn't think they would get like famous for it and some shit. They filmed it was.
they can
Isn't
make
it technically against TOS? They just need to
Right.
go strict on it.
They can
Right,
make
but
laws.
they don't.
They can make laws requiring these companies to write algorithms responsibly that don't promote harmful content.
Yeah.
So that's where the law. Thank you.
Are there any
They
laws
could
like
do
that?
that,
existing?
or they could that's isn't that like a law? Wouldn't that be like a law they're breaking?
Yeah.
Like disorderly conduct or something? Like they're
Yeah.
they're
Yes.
fucking causing a nuisance in public.
Yeah.
Like screaming in a fucking hotel room. I think
But
that'd be pretty
the way
fucking.
that and specifically with TikTok, the way TikTok works is a lot of these big TikTokers will actually like delete their account and make a new one, and so like getting like banned or something isn't even that like big of a deal. Like I don't know if that's how all TikTokers work, but I know that like a lot of them do it like that. They'll get up like really high, and as soon as they have like 2 TikToks that don't get views, they delete their account and they make it, or they don't delete it, they just make a new one, because they need to stay fresh in the algorithm. Because having 2 things that don't get views puts you down. You need to get like constant views, and getting constant views, it incentivizes people to do crazy fucking shit.
I know, but I think if they like people started having like more repercussions for like doing shit like that, like it's kind of like what I was talking about with the tragedy pimp and shit earlier. Like if there was more repercussions for like shit that's like literally against the fucking law, if you were doing it, if they were, even if they weren't doing it on camera, they're like, if you're up in someone's fucking face and you're not moving out of their face, like this is like. Especially, like, isn't there's a like it's not like that here in Canada, but in the States, like, isn't there a lot of places that you're allowed to shoot somebody for doing this shit to you? So like,
I was just gonna say the solution is more citizens shooting the people who do it. Like if so,
But see, that's the thing is like recently there has been that situation, but it hasn't slowed the fucking pranksters down.
you don't
Like
think so?
that's the
You don't
thing. And
think
it's like,
any
oh well, now
pranksters
those people are
do
getting more
that?
views
no, they
because
just
they've
gotta
been
start
shot.
banning these accounts because like if they take away the incentive, like you, I forget who said
Yeah.
that earlier, but yeah, you take away the incentive, then yeah, this is how you fucking stop that shit from happening. Like if you just start seeing like, yeah, this is harassment clear as day, or this is fucking clearly against the law. This is
I'm
a
all
crime
for-
being filmed. Like fuck this, bye, and just
I think
shut the
I'm-
whole thing down. Don't give them another chance. None of that shit.
You know, it's actually kind of funny because I hear what you're saying, but then as soon as you film it, there's some aspect of First Amendment that you could like play to legally. So I wonder if a lot of these pranksters hide behind that. But then again, that doesn't
I don't think
negate.
they're even smart enough to understand.
fucking scream in somebody's face and not get out of their face.
But they're doing
Well,
it to film it as the thing. They're
Fuck
not having it happen and then filming
Yeah,
it. They're doing
right.
it to film it. That's the right. They're
Right, that's like the creative.
Yeah, that's the
creative expression part. Is the
but
fact
if
that
their creative expression in itself is the illegal activity, right?
that's true. But then it would be difficult to argue going into a public.
So if I film myself selling drugs, is it all of a
what
sudden?
do you, Lauren?
That's a perfect example. That like on movies all the time, like they film people.
No, but yeah,
drugs,
but if
or
I'm
if you
filming
do it-
myself actually
Yeah,
doing
but
it, it's not
that's
a
all
movie.
set up. Those
Yeah.
aren't people that
They're
actually
not
do
Filming
it.
yourself
They're not
doing
usually giving
public
real weed,
nudity, like that
you know.
shit gets taken off of porn sites usually. Like I mean, responsible porn
Well-
sites, I guess. Like, you know,
I mean,
Okay,
like,
so what about the in real life streamers that go and like steal stuff? Like
Yeah,
there are
that's
TikTokers who do that for a living. Like they
Yeah.
steal stuff and then they post it
Remember
so that
Boot
people
Gang?
can buy it from them.
That
no.
Boot Gang was his whole thing
No,
of
I
getting
just-
famous was
Swear to
running
God.
away with shit.
Ginger, we have to connect. I'm so excited to connect with you after this.
Let's do it.
what you want to buy some shit?
No, I'm so curious about that scam. Wait, has anyone been
Some of that
prosecuted?
stolen
on
fucking in real
What
life.
is an
No.
investigation?
Not that I know of so far. No.
They have solely because then I would argue, like, if I were the defense attorney for this person, like, I would argue she didn't actually steal it. It was just all creative content. She just made it appear like she stole it, and then she went and purchased it, and it helped boost her channel.
Actually, that
Might win that too.
doesn't matter because there was
Right.
a recent, actually it wasn't that recent, I think it was like a year ago. There was a girl who went into a Target. She took her own TV into Target, her own flat screen into
I saw
Target.
it
Put it, yes, and she still got arrested.
because
So
she
it
could
just-
just
But did she get charged and like?
because
did
she
go-
started taking a hammer.
No, she
to
didn't get.
the TV, and
Yeah,
then
no,
she
it was. I think it was a bat.
smashing the
Yeah.
Makes sense to get arrested.
So she,
That would be like disorderly
so-
conduct or something, right?
yes,
Oh, but she
exactly. So there's
originally-
always something.
She originally wasn't even going to get arrested. They were like going to let her off, and then she like talked herself into it because she was just so obnoxious. It was actually quite wild.
Yeah.
It was
What an idiot.
But
So, I mean, yeah.
that was
Like
because
if you can do it in front of a police officer, you shouldn't really probably be able to do it.
But see, the thing is she went in there, she went in to do that to get in trouble by the company. And then she got upset that they didn't react the way that she wanted them to. So she started to create a bigger scene. That's what I'm saying. The incentive is to get into trouble. The more in trouble you get, the bigger risk and the bigger reward.
that
Like,
is true. That's totally what happened. She like
So-
got mad that they didn't.
she
get
got
mad.
pissed.
They were
She was
like,
what? So should I?
"Oh, that's your TV? Oh, okay then."
Yeah,
And
they're like, we don't even sell this TV. They knew from the beginning. She came in with the TV, for fuck's sake. Like,
It used to be
you
the case.
know,
It
so
used to be
it's
the
just
case
like-
that
Wait.
you could go
Keep
on
putting
like
my hand on.
special.
There isn't anything for this one. You probably haven't either. Go ahead, Smith. I'm sorry.
There used to be the case that you could find like weird like fucked up videos of people like doing crime and stuff like on like Reddits and stuff, but it wasn't like social media was designed to show you that, you know, like it was around, but you
Right.
didn't get famous for doing it, you know.
Right.
that's just part of the issue.
well, I
with
mean, J
society.
Station did.
Isn't that part of the issue with society today? Is not everybody has like equal opportunity towards fame, and everybody's kind of, not everybody, but a lot of people, especially us streamers, have like kind of strive for it simultaneously, and some of us get so incentivized by the likes and the clicks and shit that we lose our sense of morality, and like that's a huge problem with society in general. It's not just the live
Yeah.
you take away the live streams, even if you just post that as a video. Like, for instance, the guy who pretended to crash his plane, he like flew up and then he like jumped out with a parachute and let his plane crash into the mountains. That was a video, right? I don't even think that was live streamed. Was it live
The
streamed?
woman the woman who faked her kidnapping. Like, these
Yeah,
are all
so
things for
Think about
attention.
this for a second.
Some of
Like,
the-
you know Boom Gang, right? Remember that guy, Boom Gang, and he'd run
Yeah.
away with like a watch or some shit. If after that first thing went viral, they just shut his account down, you think people would keep fucking doing that shit? And they just
Well,
shut
so
his
But they're
part
making
of the
money off
problem
of it.
is
They're
that
fucking making
they-
money off of him.
That's why
No, that's not the problem. The
platform,
problem
the
is
platform.
that lots
The
of these
laws
things are
need-
staged, and so they can't like they're like totally acted out, and they can't like delineate between what is or isn't acted out, and so they just allow the law to like deal with people. If somebody steals from you, you call the cops on them, let the law deal with it. But the platform doesn't want to delineate between what's real and what's not.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
that's
thing
a
is, we
problem to solve.
will want to see weird, fucked up shit, and they will just push it to the front. And they need to I think have some kind of like social responsibility to some fucking extent.
Well, this
Well,
is my
generally,
question.
like
Of course
Twitch will
I'm gonna
say that you're
fucking
just
watch
not
people
allowed to
steal
break the
shit.
law.
Of
Right?
course, I'm gonna watch people
Twitch will
steal
just
shit.
say Twitch will say that you're not allowed to break the law, right? So even if you pretend to break the law, Twitch will still ban you because you're just not allowed to do it. You're not allowed to look like you're doing it. You're not allowed to pretend you're doing it whatsoever. And so I think most platforms, if they just have a similar thing like that, which I think most platforms do, the problem
It's
is
too
that
far from
platforms
me,
like
though.
Kick exist. So
But
I
that's
think
too
that would be
far
great
from
if
me.
we had that on platforms. But like to bring it back to what Lauren suggested earlier on, like you talked about like the way the law should intersect with this. So like you specifically talked about like you were specifically talking about like the way the algorithm serves content and legislating that. Is there any precedent for that? Is there anything like that currently? Because I'm just curious.
Well, we do have. Go ahead, Ginger, because you might have
No,
like, a
go ahead.
specific. We
Go
do
ahead.
have like we've definitely had legislators talking about this, but the problem is so many legislators are so old, and they keep having these meetings with like Zuckerberg and the head of Google and like other social media and like TikTok and like all of these CEOs of all of these platforms to try to like ask them questions and do congressional investigations, but then they tend almost never have results of it. I think that they've had a couple proposed legislations. Ginger, do you know anything specific?
No, they haven't really been able to come to like any like agreement on the situation. Like you said, they're having an issue understanding what the problem actually is.
Well, with the-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with the one case of the guy who was pretending he was gonna rob the guy and the guy shot him, and he ended up dying. That guy didn't get murder charges because like he was fucking
No.
he thought someone was robbing him. Like, this is what I mean. And like,
Wait, are you talking about the guy who had his like cell phone? Are you talking about the guy at the mall, or is this a different thing?
no,
No.
this is a different one than the
Sorry, just
two
making
she
sure,
was
yeah.
talking about. This was a whole nother
No.
one. I just heard about I heard about it a while back, and then I heard recently that the guy got off. Like, he didn't get no murder charges or nothing because, like, that's a dangerous fucking thing to do. You see these like in the hood pranks, and they'll be like, "Yo, you want beef, man?" And like they have beef or something in their pocket, like a piece of beef or something stupid.
Oh yeah.
But the guy's like, "What the fuck you mean?" Like some serious shit fucking happens, and
And
then
then
you have these other ones where they're going in fucking places, smashing up shit. This is against the law. Like, I don't know why disorderly conduct can't just be fucking put on these people here, and then these channels
No,
shut
it
down.
can't.
Well, I think kind of like Tom said, is that you can't necessarily
It can,
discern.
It can't through just the media platform. So yeah, like if maybe the person who was the victim of that crime. So for instance, if you were the person who was walked up to during a prank, then you could potentially file charges. But somebody needs to alert the police. And I don't think the video alone would suffice, because you could always argue that everyone involved was a willing participant and an actor. And so that's the issue, is getting the people who are victims of the crimes to come forward. And then the second issue is the fact that these platforms are financially incentivized to push shocking things to the front of their algorithm because people click on them, and therefore there should be legislation to prevent like this type of like from an algorithm pushing on.
Yeah. You can't
Like,
have front page
the-
murder.
Legislation is going to be really, really difficult to write. That's the thing, and also it's kind of scary. Yeah, like I don't know what, like that's like really, really new territory to walk
And
into.
it's a huge First Amendment issue.
Isn't there
Yeah,
something
exactly.
where they could write maybe like Google has to, if a video is going viral across a couple sites, Google has to like find the source, and if it's a crime, they find the source, shut it down. That's
There's
it.
so
Like,
much
Then you would have to have Google do investigations into videos to determine whether or not
Not
it's a crime.
practical.
That would be like an
not for
entire.
every time though. Like, for instance, what I was talking about earlier, that Boontan guy. Like, everybody knew who the fuck he was. You just had to go find his Instagram and boom, shut it down.
How would you know that, and that not everybody on the Instagrams a willing participant? You'd have to literally go find somebody who was in one of those videos and
No,
get
it's just the fact that he's promoting a crime. I don't give a fuck if it's real or not. It's crime
That's
on
like
fucking.
then like
You're
there's a
allowed
shit
to-
ton of
you're allowed to-
movies.
You're allowed
Here's
to like
my
promote a
issue,
staged crime,
easy.
right?
As soon as the government gets involved in regulating legislation, that's where it becomes a First Amendment issue, and that's where it becomes scary. So if you have the government regulating the algorithm, I am for some sort of legislation. But once you have the government regulating the algorithms, then you have a suppression of free speech to some aspect.
I mean, how much do we lose from making the algorithm not incentivize crime? Like-
Well, it's less of, because on paper, like it might seem like we could just focus on the crime, but then like the problem is that there's so much fuzziness at the edges, and there's going to be so much stuff that gets suppressed that absolutely shouldn't get suppressed, and it's going to cause.
Especially in
Well, like,
algorithm.
major
This is how it should
crimes.
work.
I'm talking about, like,
It shouldn't be legislated. It should be
maybe
just.
okay, you're right. Maybe it shouldn't
should
be every
be-
crime. That would be hard.
It shouldn't be legislated. It should be just like we should like pressure the companies to do it or something. Like we already do this with porn. Like porn on Twitter exists, but like you kind of have to opt into seeing it. And if it was like that,
Yeah,
like
it
people
should be
that
there.
want to see porn on Twitter see it on Twitter. It's like, and you can post it on
Don't
Twitter.
get me started on that subject, bro.
But like
No, like because you're always going to have. So I love capitalism, but you're always going to be financially incentivized to promote that type of content. That's why platforms haven't done
I know,
that.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, culture for some reason has clung for some fucking reason, still has clung to porn being like, oh, we don't want that on the front page of Twitter, you know? Like, we don't want that on the front page of your Facebook. Like, we've still clung to that somehow for no reason, no real reason. Like, we could just go
What do
there.
you mean no real reason?
Because we have because for no real reason, the same way we've abandoned that with murder. Like, you can literally have murder like be as like the first thing that pops up, watching someone get shot in the head, you know. but we're
guess-
still attached to hiding porn, and so
Another
You
thing we're talking
understand the
about this-
difference though is safe for work, right? Like if I happen to have a video pop up that's like where somebody's getting killed, I'm probably not going to get in trouble for that at work. Whereas if they walk by and it
Right.
looks like I'm looking at porn while all I'm doing
saying,
is just
yes,
scrolling
that's what I'm
through a
saying. I'm
feed,
saying
I'm definitely
as
going
a
to get
society
fired.
we've clung to that. That's what I'm saying though, and like we haven't we should see a murder as unsafe for work. Like
Have you ever clicked on Twitter, bro? Or
don't-
not Twitter, sorry, Twitch?
I don't think they're nearly the same.
I think we should
What do
see
you
them
mean?
as the same. That's what I'm saying.
The
You
problem
click on-
with looking at porn is like a specific type of like sexual harassment that's not just for you, but the people around you and the acts that you are likely going to involve while you're looking at porn. Whereas
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to jack off if somebody's getting killed. Other people might get traumatized watching somebody else get killed or something like that. But that's like, you know, if that happens, I'm sure I would get in trouble. But somebody like, yeah, looking, if I all of a sudden flash somebody with my phone with porn on it at work, like that's a massive sexual harassment lawsuit. Like
But it's also a
way different.
harassment lawsuit if you flash like a person getting beheaded to somebody at work, you know, like that could also be a harassment. Like it would be a sexual harassment. Sexual harassment. Panda.
Well, if they got a boner, it would be.
I love that episode.
right? But
Such a good episode. I'm a sad panda.
yeah, no, but it would still be harassment. So yeah, I agree with Smith on this one that murder, violence, and porn are equally, or not equally, but similarly egregious.
Yeah, but we don't. We're
So
not
okay,
acting like
so
we
there
are.
was
Mm.
a like it looks like a I'm sorry. There was an appeal from the United States District Court for the Northern District of California. This was Prager versus Google and YouTube. And it says that the panel affirmed the district's court dismissal of an action brought against YouTube and its parent company, Google, by a nonprofit educational and media organization alleging a violation of the First Amendment.
Don't
False
you
advertising under the Lanham Act.
that. I
Educational.
saw that.
What?
Yeah, I'll do it again.
He
All right, and
did
it says
great.
addressing
The Regal Prager University, the one and only by
They're not allowed to call themselves Prager University anymore. They have to call themselves Prager U because they're not a real university, obviously. But yeah.
your mom is
Okay, so it says addressing the First Amendment claims, the panel held that despite YouTube's ubiquity and its role as a public-facing platform, it remains a private forum, not a public forum, subject to judicial scrutiny under the First Amendment.
Quick question. What circuit was this? And so like what could you read like the top of the court heading? Like what court was this done in?
It says for publication, United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit.
Ninth Circuit. Hold on.
So, let's just no.
On.
This is the United States District Judge for the Western District of Missouri.
Yeah, so some California fucking liberal commie ass fucking judge.
Cope. I can't believe they call me Radical Cope.
It's bullshit. It is. It's like they were like, oh, PragerU versus Google over whether or not like
That's the only thing I could find.
it's not your fault.
Oh.
It's such bullshit. It's such a kangaroo.
Wait,
court
Lauren,
now.
Yeah.
did you get your law degree from Prager U?
Yeah, I did.
That explains a
Yeah, I
lot.
did. Actually, if I did get my law degree from PragerU, I would have had a way easier time passing the bar. I actually had to study for that shit.
Well,
But I passed twice. Don't worry. I just found out this week I passed twice. So
Oh, nice.
There was like no evidence, like zero evidence of discrimination for PragerU. It was a publicity stunt. The entire reason they did it was for publicity.
okay, no, the problem was they probably didn't. You're right. They probably didn't. Okay, they probably weren't the party that should have brought this case. There are people who have been legitimately discriminated against by Google and
Steven Crowder, Candace Owens, all of them have done the same freaking bullcrap. It's all publicity stunts. There's no evidence from any of them. There are probably from some, but like by far the majority of conservative channels on almost all social media platforms end up doing better in algorithms than
You also
left-wing channels.
realize that all of these are going through the exact same court. Like, almost all of these companies are based in
Common
Silicon
judges.
Valley, based in California, and so they're going to
They
be
have
going
the same laws
judicial
and the same
circuit.
country.
You're going to be, if you go through Arizona, you're going to get Judge Tucci, who I've been in front of, who I even talked to Carrie Lake about him because I had the opportunity to talk, and she's been in front of him like 3 times. Basically, any political case goes straight to this one specific judge who always, okay, I was in front of this judge with, I was like helping an attorney, and he was representing the Gateway Pundit, and like, before the hearing, we were like, what the fuck is the state even going to say? What is going to be their argument to prevent the Gateway Pundit from being at, press hearings, which they're the press. You're not allowed to discriminate based off content. And the state walks in there and is like, we're discriminating based off content. Look at how bullshit their content is. And then we're like, Judge, that's literally the violation of the First Amendment. I can't believe they just said that. They ruined their own case. Everyone laughed. It was clearly obvious who won. Like the oral argument was a fucking joke. We walked out of
What
there.
does that even mean? Discriminate based on content. What does that even mean?
Oh, it means like so when you're judging like a outlet to determine whether or not they're a legitimate journalistic outlet, you can't read the content of the article and determine based off the content of the article whether or not as a governmental official, we're not allowed to determine we're not allowed to discriminate against people's ideas and their First Amendment rights. So people are allowed to write the content that they want to write on their platforms, but we can discriminate if we have a limited room. For instance, if we're doing a press conference at the White House, for instance, we might have a small limited room. We might only have journalists that reach a minimum of 1 million, some sort of number of people, or we might we have to have some randomized fair way of discerning who comes into the room that isn't based off the content of the issue. Tucci still sided with the state. We had to go through the appeals courts to get that reversed, but it's just wild. They'll just go with the liberal side. It does not matter. The kangaroo court.
If you could send this case to me, that I'm still not understanding, but if you'd send that to me, I'd like to look into this because that sounds. I'm not even understanding. Obviously, if it was an algorithmic case.
No. So no. Jordan is a journalist who works for the Gateway Pundit. Jordan went to go to a press conference held by the Arizona state legislators. He was banned from the room. They were like, you're not a legitimate news source. You are not allowed to be in this room for this press conference. And they removed his press pass and they took away his press badge. And then when he applied for a press badge, they denied him his press badge. And so the Gateway Pundit sued Arizona, essentially, the legislators not allowing him to have his press badge. And so they argued in front of that. They had an oral argument in front of the judge over the matter. And
wait, the publisher sued?
Yeah, the news company.
Was the publisher not allowed to send somebody else?
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to derail so much.
They weren't discriminating against. They weren't discriminating against Jordan, the journalist. They were saying all of the Gateway Pundit is not a legitimate news journal, is not a legitimate news outlet, and is therefore not welcome to the press conference.
Yeah, Trump tried doing that.
Trump tried doing what?
He tried banning CNN from press briefings.
Right, and he wasn't allowed to because he's not allowed to discriminate based off the content just because he doesn't like CNN, because he works for the government and the government is not allowed to suppress First Amendment speech. In the exact same manner, Arizona was not allowed to suppress the Gateway Pundit from coming to the press conference to cover the election issues.
Okay.
He also tried to ban Muslims, and he wasn't allowed to do that either. But
apart from that case, does anybody else have any other arguments for this topic?
I had one curiosity. I don't even know. This might be an easy question to answer. I was just thinking about it. When it comes to like crimes being illustrated on YouTube, like what if somebody uploads a YouTube video of like somebody like stealing their bike or something, and they're like putting it out in the public to share? They're like, hey, like, we help identify this person? Like, do you think that, like, the people who think that these things shouldn't be allowed on YouTube, do we think that also should be like removed, like against TOS? I'm just curious. I don't know where I'd land on it. It's interesting.
Stealing a bike?
Well, it's showing someone stealing a bike because you want to know who this person was who took your bike, or you're trying to bring charges against them or something.
So
Right.
that would get wrapped up in the algorithm that we were talking about earlier. So if the algorithm just banned any showing of criminal activity, for instance,
banned, right?
then that would be wrapped up in the algorithm and prevented from being shown.
Again,
Yeah, but the thing
there's
is,
just a lot of problems
incentivizes
that, like,
people
I
to
talked about.
do, like, it incentivizes people to do crime and shit. Like I think it like very.
But we do
especially-
that. We want to see that. Like, we watch the news, we watch CNN, we watch local news. We all want to see crime. We enjoy
On
watching
YouTube,
this
I
stuff.
watch
This is
body cam.
all TV shows like
Okay,
have
I
crime
think that
and
I
like
think that
exciting things.
Audit the Audit getting bumped to the top is different from Boonk Gang getting bumped to the top.
Well, no, my point is that algorithmically, it's going to push what people want to watch, and so because people want to watch this stuff, it's going to. It's like as viewers, we're the ones who are pushing this stuff to the top.
Smith brought up a really good point, though, because this also would affect First Amendment auditors, which are very popular right now, and
but it's
all
different.
of that.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not. So the problem
It
is
is.
that, let's say one of the First Amendment auditors gets arrested and they say that they're breaking the law, but they like get off in court. Still on camera, they were arrested for breaking the law, and they would likely get banned. The YouTube's probably not going to be like, well, let's wait for the court proceedings and see what their decision is. Like, normally,
I don't know
if
what
they're
your
gonna ban
system you're
something,
talking
they
about, but
get the
I'm not
content.
for that. I just think that that we should. I don't know. I think.
So
that-
again, my problem is that like once you draw these blanket statements, right? So like we could say, okay, well, there are some shows, some acts, like some dramatic things where they do these on a channel. It's pretty obvious. It's all acted out. They might act out a crime. We don't want that to get in trouble, right? We don't want people to take a snippet of Breaking Bad and put that on the internet, and now they get banned for showing a crime. So we want to try to make some sort of distinction. Okay, well, now we have IRL streaming. Streaming's a little bit different, where it seems like it's real, and so now we want to assume like we'll go ahead and just say you can't commit crimes in streaming. But somebody's like showing their kids in a play, and in the play somebody like pretends to like smack the woman, and now they're like, oh, you're getting in trouble for assault on stream now. Like the line between what is real and what's not real is a very, very thin line, and whether or not you're acting out something illegal or actually doing something illegal is also a very fine line. It would take so much effort
I don't
from
think it's fine.
these platforms to actually
Sure,
investigate
that's true.
these cases.
That's true. But I think that there's a big difference between like a movie, is a movie, like an audit, is an audit. But I think that like it's obvious, like there is a lot of content that's made to look like a crime that's not actually a crime, but like it falls under the same audience category as actual crime. Like it's content that is made to be believed to be an actual crime. And I think that is distinct from a representation, like an artistic thing. Like I don't think that videos where you bring your own TV so that you can smash it so that people will think that you went into Walmart to smash TVs. I don't think that that's like an artistic depiction of a crime. I think it's a fraudulent depiction of a crime.
No, but it's also like, but people have also recently started making fictitious videos of fake fights. Like some people
Right,
have
that too.
made.
I know. Like
I'll be right
I count
back,
that.
and
Like
we'll close
that is made to be
People
believed
have-
as a fight.
Yes, so people have made like fake stores in which they could have had that exact same interaction there, and so that would be considered artistic. So how is that not artistic?
It's artistic.
Okay, but what if
It
it was
is
okay? Let's
artistic,
give
but
me an example though. Let me give you an example.
Wait, the vision is to fool you into thinking it's an actual fight.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what if I give you an example of like you have these guys that are going around robbing people on the streets, all of this shit. There's no disclaimer that any of this shit is set up, and they make it look real. And they're acting like this. They're like this hardcore gang going around doing all these crimes. There's no like that they make it look real as fuck. Do you think that that's should be okay or what? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Me?
and now like you're it's like you're trying to like
I think it should be allowed.
It's so hard because it's like, you know what this whole conversation reminds me of? You know Vanessa Hudgens? She's like a singer. She was in High School Musical. Anyway, these like gangsters asked to like for the copyrights to one of her songs to remix it. And they remixed the song about like murdering their ops, and they did the music video like with their Uzis on top of like their dead gang members' graves, and they were like pissing on like it was just a crazy music video, and they like clipped Vanessa Hudgens, and people got really pissed at Vanessa, and they were like, "How could you allow these like gangsters to talk about murder and promote murder and shit?" And she goes, "Well, you're just being racist because white people portray crime all the time. For instance, look at Reservoir Dogs. They cut off that man's ear while playing that song, like the Joker. You know what song I'm talking about."
Yeah,
But
but that movie's so good though.
right, but there's like that difference in artistic of like there's that
Sounds like a good
difference
argument.
in what's
Interesting.
artistic. Like, yes, these gangsters are being extremely artistic. Like, I listened to the song, it was bopping, it was fun, it was
It's
an
not-
interesting music video, but they're also encouraging murder, and they actually murdered the people who their graves they're dancing on in the music video versus people who are just like pretending to murder each other in a movie.
Yeah, there is difference there. Like they actually are dancing. Like they actually did murder, and they're dancing on the graves of the people they murdered. Like that like
Right, there's a stark difference. That's like what I'm saying. There's like a very distinct difference, and an algorithm wouldn't be able to detect those
AI.
differences. In fact, I would
Yeah, I
probably
can't detect
say,
that.
I'd probably say, yeah, algorithm or AI would probably determine that the Reservoir Dogs was way more violent than a bunch of guys just like dancing around with guns, like singing
Okay.
about.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's
We
bad
got to
taste.
go ahead and close it out. Ginger, if you want to give some closing statements on this.
Yeah. I think it's unfortunate. I don't think that there is anything that they'd be able to do to stop it. Maybe regardless of who is making the company the most money, maybe they shouldn't be allowed to do whatever they want. There are plenty of big streamers that get away with things that little streamers don't. That's the same situation, I think. But if there was anything to be done, I think that it would be TOS violation, like a major TOS violation, where you lose your channel for a month if it happens, one time against TOS, and after that, it's just goodbye. There are things, illegal things that shouldn't be done. If you are out there to make it look like you were doing something illegal, go fuck yourself. Oh well, you made it look real, and now you've lost your channel.
Fair enough. All right. And then while we're at it, go ahead and shout your channel out. Let everybody know where they can find you.
I am Ginger Remuth, and you can find me at Ginger Remuth with 2 R's in the middle on both Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter.
And what do you do on your channel?
I do panels, cosplay, video gaming, and mostly do go over all different kinds of scams and what to look for and what to avoid.
Cosplay based. All right. Radical Coder.
Radical Coder
What?
on YouTube. Oh.
Sorry,
I'm Radical Coder. It's all good. I'm Radical Coder Ryan on YouTube. I do a lot of shows like this, panels. I've been streaming more regularly recently. I just got monetized yesterday. Super hyped about that. Got my first
Let's
super
go,
chat.
dude.
Pretty stoked.
Let's
Finally in
go.
the business now.
Hey.
Yeah.
So on the up and up, but yeah, I do coding and math, but mainly politics. I mostly talk about politics, and if I try to code stuff, usually my chat just distracts me with politics. But yeah, I want to do a lot more of this stuff, so I'll be around. See y'all soon.
Awesome. Lauren De Laguna.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I do like law, true crime, but mostly interviews. Interviewed a lot of interesting people, some First Amendment auditors, which we've talked about today. And thanks for having me here. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram and the YouTubes.
All Lauren De Laguna.
Yeah, all of them.
All right, Real Smith.
Real Smith on YouTube. I talk about